back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over. Down into turn 1. There goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
For the 11th race of the 2019 RaceKings Cup Series for the 3WideRacing League, we head to Newton, Iowa, a 3/4 mile short track that is as fun as it is challenging. Hello, my name's Kyle Heyer alongside Finny Nakuna tonight for Sim TV. We've already had kind of a long night coming off of the Elite Join APS Racing League at Gateway Motorsports Park for their season finale. Well, now we head to Iowa. It was a very quick plane ride over here, and Finny, we've landed in the cornfields. And it's time to go racing for 200 laps around this racetrack. Last night, the Truck Series took it on. It was pretty exciting and eventful last night. What do you think we expect in the Cup Series this evening?
I think it's going to be definitely a fun race. These guys with more downforce to play with here have a lot more options as far as going on the track. However, just because they also have more downforce, it's going to be a lot more of an arrow shadow. So I think we're going to have to watch the guys when they exit up corners. I think that's going to be a tricky spot. A lot of guys hitting the wall.
All right, well, this is going to be a fun one tonight, Finny, and for a couple different reasons. One of the reasons is that a lot of drivers are running cartoon-inspired paint schemes in a bigger portion of the field tonight than last night's Truck Series race. You see Tanner Sharp has that on has a cartoon on his car, that number 3 Blurry Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro. A lot of the field does. Some of the paints got in here just late, just in time. Jordan McKeeboy sitting on pit lane with that SpongeBob-inspired paint scheme. That's a good-looking race car. And you know, my personal favorite is the 4 Luis Salmaso, and he has not pulled on the racetrack yet, but he has a Cars-inspired paint scheme, and it is very, very pretty. There is Matt Grunberg, the season points leader by 64 points over the second place driver, and he has just been rock solid all season long. He's going to pull to a stop, will not complete a qualifying lap. Levi Zielinski, however, will, and he'll jump up on the leaderboard, 25.892. But must have had some issues there because it was not scored here, Finian. So we'll see where he lines up after this lap as well.
Yeah, Josh Adams, he eventually put a lap in, but he had trouble coming off turn 4. Coming off turn 2, he scraped the wall and had to invalidate his lap. So Zielinski comes across the line now.
There we go, a 21.721. That'll be good enough for 6th place on the racetrack. Other drivers qualifying at the moment, Dave Hunt and his number 53. New colors on board that car this week. He's sideways off into turn 3, slipping, sliding. He's going to save it and keep going. Matt Grunberg out on track again. Jordan McKeeboy, we've taken a look at. Nick Miller in the 9. He's currently making his qualifying effort. G.I. Joe on that car. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, now about Mike Stevens, great qualifying effort for him so far. He's up in 3rd.
Absolutely. After kind of a rough week at Charlotte last week, trying to rebound a little bit on the Cup side of things, as Derbyshire takes to the racetrack. That is a very brightly colored car, Finny, in red, orange, and yellow. Looks good out there. Paul Ross, we talked about him. He's got Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles on that car. That's a pretty looking car as well. Green. However, green typically is associated with bad luck in racing. We'll see if he can turn that and into a positive tonight in his 3OG racing machine. Sam Close in his number 5 is just pulling off the racetrack with a 7th place qualifying effort.
Yeah, a solid effort out of him. Also just looking through the order. And actually, Paul Ross just jumped up. He's going to be in 4th, unless he can improve on his 2nd lap.
Kyle Hanshaw in his number 46 Disney-sponsored Toyota Camry entering turn 3. And drivers today talking about the car tonight versus last night. A lot tighter this evening, so we shouldn't see as much trouble handling the race cars as we saw last night. Looks like Salmaso isn't going to be able to get a lap in here, Finian. So for the Ford, that 3OG Racing Ford Mustang is going to start way at the rear of the field, as will Matt Grunberg, although we haven't seen that really hurt him too much this season. He has a huge points lead and has room to play with. He's almost 3 races ahead of everyone as we conclude qualifying. As Hanshaw comes on through for a 2nd lap, will it be an improvement? No, it will not. A 22.426. Spielberg rolling around just for fun. Qualifying concluded. Chad Frankenfield just came off of a second place points result in the Elite Joint APS Racing Series. He's going to start up front tonight. Gridding for 200 laps here, Finian, and it's about an hour and 12 minutes if we go green to the end. Do you think this one's going to go green most of the way like last week, or do you think we're going to have trouble like we did last night in the Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour?
I think to ask any set of drivers, no matter what profession, to do 200 laps at Iowa without any single caution, I think that's a really big task to do. So I think we're going to have at least one. Hopefully the caution count remains low. These guys were, again, not really fault of the drivers. Last night they were fighting some difficult conditions in the truck series. A lot of cars breaking loose. We've seen the leader, including Frankenfield being the leader. He spun out of the turn as well as many other drivers who we normally wouldn't expect to see an accident out of, got caught out by the track. So we'll see how these guys deal with conditions here. Now on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's going to be tight for these guys. And remember what I said earlier, they got to watch out for the walls.
Yeah, turn 2 was a trouble spot last night. I think turn 4 might be the issue this evening. Track conditions, 84 in the air, 89 on the racetrack, so it's relatively cool and grippy. It's only going to get grippier as the night goes on. Of course, my name is Kyle Heyer, and we're here with Finian DeCuna lining up for the 11th race of the RaceKings Cup Series season. And they've had some good ones, they've had some bad ones, but I think coming off of Charlotte last week, which was extremely exciting, I think Chad Frankenfield ended up winning that last week, did he not? I think he's looking to continue that tonight at Iowa.
Yeah, that was on a really good streak. Won both Charlotte races, the Oval and the Roval race, back-to-back. So looking to make it 3 in a row this week for that 15 car.
So Field getting ready to roll off for 2 pace laps here, 200 laps, Finney. And what's the tire strategy? And I think probably what we're going to see is mostly every time there's a yellow, you're going to come down to pit road and put 4 Mr. Feelgoods on. But what do you think?
I think we're going to see something like that. I think once we see you guys go about 5-7 laps, we're going to see probably everyone elect to come down for 4 tires. Might see some 2-tire strategies here and there to move some guys who are a little bit further back to get some track position to move up the order.
Chuck Sweeting will not be able to make the race tonight, unfortunately, so he'll be watching from the sidelines as everyone else rolls off pit lane. The starting lineup along the bottom of your screen. You mentioned Mike Stevens in that 63, a really strong qualifying effort for that Toyota Camry driver. And running with the Nickelodeon-themed car, and wow, that's a beautiful-looking paint scheme. I like the pastel to pale colors on that car. It makes it look really nice and stand out.
Yep, Rocco's Modern Life on that car.
Josh Adams in the 95, going to be starting 7th place, running his normal Best Buy scheme here this week. And going through the rest of the field, Levi Zielinski we talked about. He has had some rotten luck many times this season. Do you think tonight the 6 car turns his luck around?
I mean, honestly, he needs some luck just to ensure that he's in the right place at the right time. I think really anything could happen at this track. Hopefully, for his sake, his luck turns around. He's had 3 different second-place finishes this season. Still looking for that win to secure a spot into the playoffs.
So the 15 is going to choose the outside lane for the start. What do you think about the outside versus inside through especially turns 1 and 2? You think that's a good idea? Because we've seen the bottom be pretty bumpy. Maybe that's what Chad's trying to avoid.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Chad is trying to avoid. Also run that top side lane, get that nice run off of 2. Always a good thing to have, and I think we're going to see a lot of guys trip that. We might see it switch later on in the night once the track starts to cool down. We'll see that, and we'll see how these guys race. So 200 laps here at Iowa.
Tate Lytle sitting in 2nd place. He's been victorious a couple times this season in that Toyota Camry. We'll see if he can launch an attack on Chad Frankenfield, but it's 200 laps here for the 11th race of the season in the 2019 RaceKings Cup Series, and we are green. Green flag flies, racing in Iowa.
And a fantastic start for the 15 car, and it looks like Lytle's going to secure his 2nd spot. Meanwhile, Stevens and Ross fighting it out for 3rd. Ross powering it around the outside.
Tense moments here at the start of the race. Everyone just trying to get those tire pressures up and not run into each other here. It's hard. It's a really tiny racetrack, and especially that back straight's very short. It means you're going to see a lot of drivers making the dive into turn 3 to try to get passes done. But Frankenfield leads the opening lap as everyone scatters trying to find space. You see the 6th is Levi Zielinski in 10th, trying to make his way forward as well.
A bunch of guys scrambling, especially for around 5th position. Now a lot of guys duking and diving. Stevens trying to hold off some guys. He held up Adams, and now Adams goes middle 3 wide.
Whoa, that's a little exciting around the 95. There's a 3 of Tanner Sharp going to the outside lane, trying to take advantage of it, but Stevens going backwards very quickly, trying to find some stability here in the early going.
he's getting absolutely freight trained as Tanner Sharp's able to get around there. Here comes Josh Adams trying to make the pass.
Riding on board with Nathan Velez, who's following this fight. Vinny and Velez trying to look for better days ahead after not a great run at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So trying to turn things around a little bit. You see that side-by-side battle between the 63 and the 95. That is going to be for 8th place. That got a little tight there at a 2, with the 63 has to give up, and Zielinski's going to get by as well.
And there, Stevens can finally emerge into the outside lane to start defending. Velez now looking to the inside, trying to get the spot from that 63. Also behind him, Jordan McKeeboy.
So far, so good. The leader, Frankfield, still leads only by 0.2 over Tate Lytle, though, but Velez drops to the inside to try to get around that 63 car, bouncing over the bumps in the inside of turns 1 and 2. That's a very tricky line to run. The outside sees it either where the speed is, but maybe not on the opening couple laps of the run. There's McKeeboy in the 21, that SpongeBob-colored car, trying to get to the inside of the 48. Behind, some more fighting going on.
For the lead.
Oh, for the lead, you mentioned it. Frankenfield leads, but Lytle is quicker.
Yeah, it was just Lytle had a little bit of a look into turn 1. Here he is with a great run off the corner. Gonna barely be side by side with a 15, but definitely Lytle looking to be faster at the moment.
0.2 quicker last time through, and Frankfield drops to the inside lane. That's where he was quick last night. And Lytle carrying some more speed off the corner. We'll see how that plays dividends on the longer front straightaway. Was there some wall contact with the 56 down into turn 1?
I think it was a bit of neck code. He did get awfully close to it, though.
Everyone trying to find space to run. It's a bit congested in the rear of the field right now, but for that top spot, still competitive running. 7 of 200 laps complete, as Frankenfield's led every single one so far, but Tate Lytle closing that gap. Behind, I see Josh Adams taking a look to the inside of Tanner Sharp.
Yeah, these guys starting to fight it out for position, fighting it for 7th, but Sharp, you can see a lot of these guys pinching the inside car down towards that line.
Right on board with Levi Zielinski. He started 10th, he's up to 9th, and maybe looking for 8th on the inside of Sharp as they exit turn number 4. He's going to take a big run there, but it's hard to get a big run, but he's going to get held up by the 95, the 3 is, and now the 6 has position down into turn 1.
Yep, and so Zielinski's going to clear Tanner Sharp for 7th place, or sorry, 8th place, make that.
Still a lot of congestion towards the rear of the field. Here's a interesting battle. There's Corey Lindsay trying to get by the 27 of Cogswell. And the 94 of Brendan Klosterhuis. Whoa, Cogswell slides. Derbyshire, the 91, down on the inside lane. Spins out of turn 4. He'll collect it, though. Great work there.
Yeah, got tight, hit the wall in turn 4, and off he went there. But great job collecting the car back, although he's going to lose a lot of spots.
Here's a look. This is our first warning that we're going to see a lot of that kind of incident tonight in turn 4. Pretty severe right front damage on that car, but he stays out on the racetrack at the moment. Sam Close, meanwhile, there's some action around him and Josh Adams. That's the battle for 6th.
Yeah, and Adams is able to work his way around, get that 6th spot away. That 95 is on the march forward.
Certainly is, as we see Nick Miller dropping down the order a little bit as well, down in 21st place. 11 laps complete here in the early going, and no caution so far. The only incident between 91 and that turn 4 wall, but still a big battle around 17th to 20th place. Klosterhuis on the outside of the 54 of Gruenberg, who's trying to claw his way through the field.
Yeah, and right in front of them, Cogswell just cut off. That was Corey Lindsay. That was very close quarters there. And here comes Gruenberg trying to move his way up through the field.
A lot of blue and light blue and green cars around the field tonight. There's a big horde of them heading down into turn 1 right now, and a couple of blurry motorsports cars. And then Gruenberg, who's been sacrificing his start positions lately.
Yeah, battle for 3rd heating up, though, between Kevin Finn and Paul Ross. They're starting to go at it in turn 4. Very tight, though, off the corner for the 14.
Yeah, I think that outside line's going to be the place to be later in the run. Once you start losing that front-end grip and start getting tighter, you're not going to be able to make a pass on the inside. But Finn attempting to, and it looks like he will. And Ross trying to fight back.
Yeah, definitely that inside lane. We saw last night, too, better in 1 and 2, but the outside lane is definitely better in 3 and 4.
Then clears the 18 for that spot, puts himself up into P3. Battle for the lead is fizzled out for now, but here's a big battle between Zielinski on, Zielinski on back. There's Mike Stevens, Velez, McKeeboy, Sharp, and Johnny Thomas in the 83 chasing everybody down. Haven't mentioned him tonight. Lots of different lines playing out here, even this early in the race. I think we're a little surprised at that.
Yeah, I think guys still trying to look for some grip here as the track begins to cool down. It's only going to get more grippy as the time goes on, but also just trying to avoid the aero wash, especially when you're in a big pack of cars. Just trying to find some clear air to the spoiler and to the splitter in the front to plant that car through the corner.
Paul Ross is fighting Justin Kolb for 4th place, and he's got Josh Adams right behind him. Adams going to take that spot away from Kolb and move himself up into 5th. Adams is really moving very quickly right now, and last time by was only a 10th slower than our leader, Chad Frankenfield, who's out front by 1 second.
Yeah, once he gets clear, I'm interested in seeing what he does once he gets clear to 14 if he can. Here he goes to the inside of Paul Ross now, fighting for 4th.
95 tight out of turn 4, but going to be a drag race down the front straightaway off into turn 1, but I think this is going to be a short-term gain, long-term loss for the 18 as the 95 takes that run through 1 and 2 and will clear the 18. And, oh, the 18 got in the fence out of turn 2. Sparks flying, and the 52 of Kolb's going to take that as an opportunity to make the pass. Meanwhile, back in 12th, Mike Stevens continues his drop down the order after starting up in P3, just has not had the speed after that really good qualifying effort.
Yeah, settled into 9th for a little bit there, but now has fallen all the way back into 13th. We'll see if he can hang on here, try to turn this night back around early on. Richard
Lafferty has some front-end damage. I'm trying to see where that fits in, kind of put the puzzle together. I don't see any cars near him that have rear-end damage, but clearly he's been into somebody tonight. The battle's all over the racetrack, brewing. And 1 for 3rd is as well. Josh Adams to the inside of Kevin Finn. And he's going to probably end up taking this spot away as well. So that 95 car, right now, last time through, was the quickest car on the track.
Yeah, not too surprised that the rate he's going at is honestly spectacular. It looks like he's got completely fresher tires than the rest of the field. And I think part of that, I think he was taking it a little bit easy on the initial start. Now as guys have worn their stuff out, he's just picking them off one by one.
Paul Ross and Justin Kolb, they're fighting for 5th place. And how about Justin Kolb? The last couple weeks, he's really turned up the wick and been really competitive. Had a chance to win the race last week at Charlotte. Didn't do it, but he's been running a lot more in the top 5 recently and getting really close to that tonight. So keep an eye on his 52 as we enter the latter half of the season. Big fight back here towards 20th place, Vinny, and this is kind of where issues tend to start, as everyone kind of fighting, and pretty soon it's going to be fighting for the last spot on the lead lap as we completed 22 laps. And the last driver on the racetrack is Frank Sims. He's 13 seconds back, so that's more than half a lap down. And the fight to stay on the lead lap is going to get really interesting here. Cogswell in the 9 of Nick Miller almost making contact there in turn 4.
I actually did see them just touching just a little bit on the door, not enough to really send them flying, but just a little bit of a rub between them. But yeah, when you have guys just fanning out all over the track like this, you got to be careful and keep track of where everyone is. Otherwise, you can just turn into someone when you're not expecting to.
No challenge up front, but Kolb and Ross continue to fight. That's still a battle for 5th. And Kolb is going to win this one here for the moment, but no, the 18 throttles up on the exit of 2 and will re-clear the 52.
Yeah, Kolb's going to get onto the gas coming out of 2, had to give it up. But man, Adams looking up ahead. He is really reeling in the leaders. He's almost caught up to Tate Lytle, and it's catching him at 0.2 a second a lap.
He's flying really quickly. We saw Levi Zielinski get passed there by Tanner Sharp for 9th. So action all over the racetrack, and Kolb relaunching his fight on Paul Ross down the back straight. Just can't get the run on the inside lane, but you mentioned that 95 is sitting in 3rd place. He is a rocket ship right now, quicker than everybody by a 10th, quicker than Tate Lytle by 2 tenths, and closing that gap very quickly. It's right on board for a lap.
Yeah, Lytle also just off of 4, almost hit the wall, got really tight off the corner, so he's starting to struggle in that 56. Adams trying to take advantage.
Tate Lytle's got the F is for family, number 56 Camry, and Adams going to just launch it down into turn 3, and it's going to easily clear the 56. I think Lytle's going to roll over, let him have this one this early in the race. I don't think we'll see people giving each other that much room later in the night. Meanwhile, big battle out of turn 4. That's Zielinski and the 21 in the Q-Boy. That's for 11. So Zielinski struggling a little bit. He's dropping back a couple spots.
Yeah, I think this is, again, you're talking earlier about using up your stuff. I think he might have used the tires a little bit too much earlier on in the run. Is now starting to pay the price as he's under attack from Matt Grunberg.
3 wide almost out of turn 4. I think Zielinski's going to not quite make that happen, but it's close to it. Meanwhile, behind Brandon Kloosterhoos and Dave Hunt have cleared each other. Kloosterhoos in 18th, Dave Hunt in 17th. Behind them, Luis Almaso. This is the car I wanted to point out in qualifying. Haven't talked about him yet. That 4 car, the Rusty's fabulous Lightning McQueen car based on the Hudson Hornet livery. That is a gorgeous, that's by far my favorite scheme in this entire field right now.
Yeah, glad they'll stick up the tires to match properly. So, yeah, that really is one of the best looking schemes. Very simple, but a really nice tribute scheme.
It's just simple and effective, and that's what I love about it. Currently running in 20th after starting 26th, so he's got a lot of work to do, but he'll get there eventually. Matt Gruenberg, however, has been doing a lot of work. He's up inside the top 15 after starting 25th, running 11th right now, and 10th is right in front of him, that pink and white car. That's Johnny Thomas.
Yeah, Johnny Thomas with Courage the Cowardly Dog on his hood, and then behind Matt Gruenberg with Ed, and Eddie, both Cartoon Network shows, so they're going at it.
And Ross Kolb and Sam Close are now a 3OG sandwich with that 52 splitting the difference. Right between them now as we look behind, and Gruenberg has gotten around. Thomas didn't quite clear him. He tried to out of turn 4 and couldn't quite get up in front of him in time. As we look at that battle for the lead on the left-hand side of your screen, the top of the ticker, 9/10 of a second. And that continues to drop that number. We'll pan there when the action picks up, but we're going to keep an eye on other battles throughout the field. Ross and Kolb, these guys have got to be getting frustrated with each other.
Yeah, they've just been going at it lap after lap with no one really winning. And it's also stacked up quite a few guys. Sam Close is now under attack from Nathan Velez and Tanner Sharp is low closing.
32 laps complete of 200. We've been all clean and green so far. No cautions, no caution laps, no lead changes. Been pretty clean and green, but that lead is about to change the next couple of laps with the rate. Josh Adams is closing down. Look at Sam Close go to the outside of Kolb through 1 and 2. Now stuck behind his teammate.
Yeah, this is the frustrating part, being stuck behind your teammate like that. And Ross goes so high, he almost hits the wall off of turn 4. He's going to get a great run. Can he defend from the 5 car?
Yeah, the 5 really split the gap there. He went all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, got by the 52, and almost had the 18 cleared. And I think, is Ross going to make this difficult for his teammate? Yes, he will. They're going to continue to fight on the back straight. And this early in the race, you might as well race for position. The 18 is going to carry this momentum, but let the 5 slide up. So Sam Close gains 2 spots in 2 laps, up into 5th.
And in behind them, Gruenberg fighting with Tanner Sharp. So Gruenberg trying to navigate these guys. And just how about his drive? Started in the back, as he's been doing that quite a lot lately, and just moving up through the field. Already in the top 10 after lap 35.
Yeah, it's to the point where it's not really surprising anymore, but it's still just as impressive, and he's working inside the top 10 now. There's a big gaggle of cars in front of him. He's got to be careful not to get himself into trouble. This may kind of drive like a short track, but it's got the speeds of a speedway, so if you get yourself turned, you can have a pretty horrible collision. Look at this. This is a 5-car battle, all for 5th place.
Yeah, and again, hopefully these guys keep it clean. I imagine some of them are a little bit frustrated with each other, just going lap after lap. Velez following Paul Ross in the outside lane, China Sharp following Cole on the inside.
This is getting really dicey here, Finney. Everyone kind of losing their patience, especially that 52 who's been trying to get by the 18, so we might see him launch in pretty deep in the corner, but just can't drive in deep enough to get clear of that 18. Then he gets bound up on exit with other cars following behind. The intensity is picking up.
Tanner Sharp throwing it really hard into the corner. Velez almost turns into him as Velez almost makes it 3 wide.
Still side by side for that 6th spot between Kolb and Ross. And finally, Kolb gets by him. That was about a 20-lap pass in the making, and Velez can take the opportunity to get to the inside of the 18 down into turn 1.
Yeah, Velez taking a very interesting line, was running high in 4, then cut down on exit. And just trying to get some sort of momentum on the 18, but you see Ross get a great run off the corner, and Sharp almost turning the 48.
The 18 got a great run off the corner, but almost pancaked that right side against the wall. Velez clears himself on the 18. Not a whole lot of room left there.
I think you have to make moves like that tonight. Definitely looking like it's hard to pass as the run goes on.
We're still watching this battle. I'm keeping an eye on that gap between 1st and 2nd. It's down to 0.2 of a second. We'll take you there in a moment, but I don't want to miss anything if it happens between this battle for now 7th place. 3 wide for a moment as Velez, Sharp, and Gruenberg try 3 wide, and they get back double file out of turn 4. For the lead, here comes 95 of Josh Adams to the outside lane, carrying a heck ton of momentum.
Yeah, he's caught up to Frank and Fuel at a great rate of speed, but now, again, the problem is making a pass. I also see a slow car on the front straightaway. It's Cal Hanshaw.
Hanshaw in the 46. Don't see any damage on that car.
Yeah, just had a little bit of a spin off of 4, kept it straight to left through the grass.
Here comes the 95 to the inside lane. He ran the outside through 3 and 4 last time. Has to go to the inside now as Frankenfield protects that middle groove. And the lead, oh, caution. Zielinski, again, it just continues to have bad luck, and there's pretty big damage on that car. Gruenberg involved as well. So nearing up the 25% mark of this race. 2 of our front runners involved in a collision, and the bad luck continues for the 6 of Zielinski. Alright, we're going to go back and take a quick look at the replay here, see how this happened. Oh, ooh, there was 2 separate incidents. Oh, the 6 car's got to be done for the night. That impact was massive on the inside wall. And the 54, totally separate incident. Here's another look at the 54's issue. He got tight out of the corner. There's Tanner Sharp out there. The 54 just got loose. Big mistake by the points leader. Although he didn't hit anything. The 6 car, however, a big, big impact.
Yeah, I think Zielinski, he saw Gruenberg start to spin, got a little bit distracted, and then I think had too much throttle in, and around he went. But yeah, Gruenberg got off with pretty minor damage to the back. Zielinski, however, can't say the same. He got a lot of damage to the front of his car.
It goes without saying, we're back live now with pit stops underway. No surprises here. I think after 44 laps, your tires will be pretty well melted off. So you're going to want some new tires and another full tank of fuel. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of strategy here. Josh Adams going to fire off, and the 15 will win the race off pit road by an inch. Jonathan Cogswell is currently scored as the leader, but I think he's going to pull over and let the field on by, or at least he's going to come down to pit lane here shortly. So first caution after 43 laps of running. It's been between the 15 and the 95, but the 95 has had the quickest car for about 3/4 of that run. So I'm looking at the 95 as a definite favorite to win this race. Kevin Finn, Tate Lytle, Sam Close all as well in the inside the top 5.
Yeah, and I think also if you're Frankenfield too, I would be really scared of that 95. He drove from quite a ways back, distance-wise on the track, and even position-wise too. Started in 7th, fell back a little bit, and then slowly worked his way back up to the lead. So I would be really scared of this 95 as a 15 as far as winning the race.
Track conditions always changing though, and we've seen drivers be good in the first half of the race that weren't quite as good in the second half on these day-to-night transition events. So you see off the nose of this 95, the sun getting lower and lower in the sky. Will the handling change for these drivers as the temperature drops? We started at 89. Well, we're still at 89 now because the sun's still beating down, but as soon as that sun dips below that wall in turn 3, watch for that track temp to drop and the grip level to rise, and maybe see some new faces towards the front.
Yeah, it's just about 10 minutes before 8 in the sim, and we're at 2 times sun here, so going at a pretty great next speed. But although at the rate this race is going, you might not get that much time in the night, because that was quite a short run time-wise, but we are almost a quarter of the way through the race.
Yeah, we definitely made up a lot of ground on that 200 lap mark, so we are nearing in that quarter mark. And the first 43 laps all clean and green. I wonder if we'll have the cautions breed cautions philosophy for the next couple laps, or if we'll see another long green flag run.
Yeah, honestly, really at this point it can go either way, but definitely one thing I could say, these guys look a lot more planted than they did last night.
Part of that's due to the car, part of it's due to the setup, part of it's due to things they learned last night in the trucks, how to handle the bumps in a vehicle that maybe was not as compliant on Sunday evening. So Salmaso, love to see that yellow, is able to gain some track position up into 14th after starting in 26th, which was essentially dead last. So Salmaso gains a bunch of spots, and that 3OG car climbing towards the front to join his teammates Paul Ross and the 5 of Sam Close. Should have the lights out of the pace car this time through. Of course, Chad Frankenfield has led every single lap so far tonight, but Josh Adams was giving up a valiant effort here, and I think we'll see that 95 be really competitive, but Frankenfield chooses the outside lane. I think we'll see this the 15 lead for at least a few laps after the restart, because they'll get a pretty decent jump.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the hard thing to get by, especially as a leader, but again, I think Adam's much stronger on the later part of the run, so I think all he needs to do is just try to keep that second place spot if he can, maybe just at least stay in the top 5, and then try to track down the 15 again.
It'll be our first restart of the night after Frankenfield led the field with the green alongside Tate Lytle. Tate has slipped to third, but I guess in this position he's actually in a better spot than he would be if he was on the bottom. So 56 also in a position of strength. Nathan Velez back there as well on the outside lane, his number 48. Field rolls off a turn 4. The pace car is going to pull back into pit lane and leave Frankenfield up to the decision for the restart. And he launches. Green flag back in the air.
Yep, and Frankenfield, of course, with a fantastic start. Adams trying to hold off second place as Kevin Finn's right behind him, and then he's got Tate Lytle rounding on the outside.
Adams gets himself clear of that 56 as we rocket off a turn 2. Everyone trying to get space to work with here on the opening laps of the restart. This is when everyone's vulnerable. This is when everyone's hungry to get positions. For third place, Lytle and Finn fighting, but Finn's not going to be able to complete that pass in the bottom, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. Lytle really fast, using that momentum in the outside lane. He's going to clear the 14 off the corner. Now set his sights on the 95.
Chad leads this race by 0.2 of a second, but Josh Adams wasn't any quicker last time by. What about this time, though? The lead, a 21.645 to a 21.585, so the 95 was quicker that time. So as we watch Mike Stevens try to recover his starting positions, but Salmaso up to 11th.
Yeah, Smalls doing a great job here, picking off guys, definitely showing the speed that what could have been if he qualified better, but he's got quite a few laps left to move up forward, and that 4 car definitely looking strong.
Brent Miller way up the racetrack in turn 4. Actually scraped the wall a little bit. Meanwhile, for second place, getting busy around Josh Adams. The 56 of Tate Lytle was a touch quicker, as was Kevin Finn. So maybe the 95 isn't the end-all, be-all quickest driver here tonight. We got 4 very, very fast drivers inside this top 5, and they're looking really hungry, but they're all closing in on Frankenfield right now.
Yep, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, your top 5. And here comes Adams, great run off the 2. He's going to get a run to the inside of Chad Frankenfield. Into 3 they go. Can he clear him?
He's got him alongside, but this is so hard to make that pass, and the 95 is going to slip up, and that's going to give Tate Lytle a run. Meanwhile, in the background, you see Finn and Velez fighting for 4th place.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. Adams, he has to be careful with these moves he's making. Still got a bunch of drivers in behind him. Can't afford to make a mistake, otherwise he's going to be put back quite a few positions.
Field has not really had an opportunity to spread out very much tonight, so we'll keep an eye on the battles when we have them, but we're still focusing on the top 3 right now as they run nose to tail on that 54. And how about a guy like Kevin Finn? He's been in position of strength a lot this season. Needs a victory. Was really close at Phoenix, but had contact with a couple of drivers and wasn't able to. Oh, caution! Booster Hoos down to the inside of the backstretch. Looks like a single car incident. Maybe the 8 of Lafferty involved as well.
Yeah, Lafferty was involved.
Second caution of the night. And here's a look. I think the 8 car is just going to get loose. Oh, is there... Ooh, yeah, a little contact with the 75 of Frank Sims. The 8 car slips. The 95 got the worst end of that. Big hit to the inside fence with the back of that car.
We'll say, though, at least he hit it in the back part. It's probably the least harmful place to hit that car.
Well, it didn't probably feel very good to the driver, though. That's a pretty decent-sized impact. So you're right, probably the best place to hit it if you are going to hit something. So he'll keep rolling. Lafferty got it with the left side, the driver's side door. He's got a lot of damage as well. Pit stops underway again. No surprise here. I guess one surprise, though, is Josh Adams and Tate Lytle have stayed on the racetrack.
Interesting stuff there. So I think they figured no point in doing so. I don't blame, or I shouldn't say don't blame, but I'm not surprised with Adams staying out. Definitely looks like he's much more consistent over the run, whereas out his tires a lot less. I'm not sure about Lytle, though. We'll have to see how he does on this run, but Frankenfield leading the rest of the field down off pit road.
What else is coming up on SimTV this week? Tomorrow night, Grid Life Stadium Super Trucks. That'll be 8:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Wednesday, the Spec MX-5 Sim Racing Challenge in the Winding Road Magazine. That's going to be round number 6 from Road Atlanta. That's what's coming up the next couple of days. Then we're off until Saturday when we return with the Outsider Racing League from the Daytona Road Course. That's going to be a fun one for sure. We've talked about that a couple times tonight, Finian. But right now, Iowa Speedway, 2 cautions in 56 laps. Wouldn't say cautions are breeding cautions just yet. We got a short green flag run in there, but I think we'll see a lot more green flag running once these guys spread themselves back out.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really the tricky part, but these guys doing a fantastic job so far tonight. And I think we'll continue on. We're definitely seeing these guys a lot more stable and a lot more maneuverable in some cases as well. So leading to fantastic racing, especially for the front. Interested in seeing how this is going to sort out between Frankenfield now with fresher tires and Lytle and Adams not pitting that last time through.
I like this call for the 15 because he knew he wasn't going to lose a whole lot of track position, but what he will gain is a tire advantage over the 95, who was quicker than him on that last short run. So I'm on board with the 15 trying this strategy out. I'm also on board with the 95 and Josh Adams trying this strategy because it's still really early in the race. He's got a lot of speed. He might as well try something just to see how it's going to work. And if it doesn't work now, you know not to do it later, but you'll never know unless you try. And that's what Josh Adams is trying at the moment. So field rolling out at turn 4, and we expect to see those lights shut off this time through. And the lights will not extinguish this time. Long cautions at Iowa. We talked about this last night on Sunday. Cautions seem to be one lap longer than they really should be, but I guess Cogswell is a lap down, and there is Levi Zielinski. Levi Zielinski is currently scored 26th, 14 laps down, essentially the night over for him. So bad luck in both races he's competed in tonight, just continuing the bad streak of luck he's had all week.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate for him. And I think, I'm not sure if he's going to call it a night or still trying to fix that car up, but back in 26, 13 laps down, it's just not, like you said, it's just not been the sixes night tonight.
Yeah, I don't think, when you're 14 laps down, there's not really a whole lot to gain, although there's a lot of laps left. Maybe if there's a big wreck, he'll come back out, but not really a whole lot to compete for at the moment. So Field's going to re-rack, restack. 95 and Josh Adams off lane choice. What lane do you think he's going to pick this time through, but quickly before he actually chooses it?
I think the outside lane looks like he's already lining up for it. I wouldn't be surprised because Pringle's going to be the inside. I don't think he wants to give that car an advantage. But Kevin Finn, definitely not a weak car by any means, but I think he definitely is more worried about Frankenfield than that 14.
So it's a Chevy, a Toyota, then a quadriture of Fords, and a trio of Chevrolets, and another Ford rounding out your top 10 as we come back to our second restart of the night. And let's see the first one that Josh Adams has been in control of. Curious to see how that 15 launches with those fresh tires. Everyone behind him's got 4 fresh tires. The front 2 are on tires that are a few laps old. We'll see how it turns out here in just a moment. Working lap number 60 of 200. And a reminder, Finian, that Levi Zielinski is now past the 11-lap mark, so he is officially out of the race regardless of what he wants to do. He's 15 down. That'll be the end of the night for him. Green flag back in the air. The 95 gets a good launch. A bit of a stack up in the inside groove. Everyone trying to find some space to work with.
Yeah, Lyle just cuts off Kevin Finn to secure his second place spot. Meanwhile, Kevin Finn rocketing around the outside of Lytle. Wow, great job.
Maybe that's those fresh tires talking, but either way, it was a strong move for the 14 up into second place and immediately closing on the 95. I think we know how this is going to go. The 14 crosses over at the exit of 4. He's going to go for the lead. Across the line, the 95 leads the lap, but the 14 is going to have the lead down into turn 1. Power move for Kevin Finn.
Yeah, he's going to have all the grip in the world to do it compared to Adams, and now Adams got set on the second place, and I think now he knows he's on the back foot here, as well as Lytle, who's under attack by Nathan Velez and company.
There's a lot of stack-ups and drama out of turn 4 right now. Keeping an eye on everybody as Chad Frainfield goes to the inside of Josh Adams on the front straight. So this strategy not working out early for the 95. Meanwhile, 2 and 3 wide throughout the pack, trying to find what battle could potentially be trouble. But everyone so far doing okay. There's the 83 of Johnny Thomas right on the bumper of Salmaso out of turn 4. Looking up ahead, this is just a minefield of race cars.
Yeah, and also Salmaso too. Started in 26 all the way up into 9th. Great move forward for that 4 car. And he looks to the inside of Lytle. He will get on by.
The Lytle dropping quickly through the field faster than Josh Adams is. Adams is still sitting in 3rd.
Yeah, but he's under attack by Velez and Sam Close. Speaking of which, Close goes to the inside of Velez, but now boxed into the inside.
Meanwhile, an update on points leader Matt Grunberg. After that collision, he's back up into 14th. So clawing his way back forward, make it 13th. 3 wide, caution in the background. And this time it's the 2 of Richard Hines, I think? Maybe a couple of cars.
I think it was Brent Miller. Wow.
Here's a look. Ooh, contact from the 91 of Derbyshire. And held it in a slide, and I'm just a little bit surprised that was a yellow, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I guess his angle was, I guess the angle that he was held at, I think if Sim figured, yeah, it's probably a wreck, but he held onto it very well. Almost got scot-free from what Frank Sims got caught nowhere to go.
Yeah,
he get some heavy contact to the left front.
Yep. And the 2 of Richard Hines slid around the outside. I think Richard Hines has probably been the driver that's missed the most accidents this year. I think that'd be an award he's got to get at the end. So we're going to see the 95 hit pit road. We're going to see a lot of people, actually the whole field hit pit road, with the exception of Corey Lindsay and maybe the 75 as well. Oh, that's the 46 of Hanshaw, rather, who is currently on the lead lap. So maybe trying something different here.
Yeah, and I guess what we were talking about with Hines is, I guess you could say, is the underdog?
There's a pun. All right, so we're going to just wait and see what these front 2 do. Then we're going to take a quick break for a drink of water because we've been talking since about 7:30, about 3 hours ago. So we're going to need to take a quick break before we come back green. We'll just see if these front 2 head to pit road or not. I think Corey Lindsay looks like he's going to head down pit lane. Thinking about it.
Yeah,
and here he
there
comes.
he goes.
Hanshaw looks like he is going to stay out. This will be interesting. Tanner Sharp leads the race off pit lane, and he took 2 tires, as did Paul Ross, who's going to come out in 11th. Everyone else took 4, and we'll be back with you for the restart in just a moment. We're just going to take a quick break. Welcome back live to SimTV, gearing up for our 3rd restart of the night. Kyle Hanshaw is stayed out on old tires. Tanner Sharp on 2. Everyone else on 4. Mr. Feelgoods as the lights shut off on the pace car. Fitting in first 43 laps clean and green, then the cautions, breeding cautions. What do you think? What do you predict for this restart here?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's going to be definitely a little bit hectic as guys try to get around Hanshaw. I definitely think he's going to be dropping back back as we saw earlier with Adams and Lytle, arguably some of the fastest cars in the field. They couldn't hold a candle to guys on fresher tires. I'm actually, though, curious how Tanner Sharp is going to fare with his 2-tire call compared to the other guys behind him.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the 3 car. I'm looking at Kyle Hanshaw's best time of the night. It's almost a half a second slower than Chad Frankenfield. So this is going to get really interesting. Frankenfield starting up behind the 46. we could see a big mess like we saw in the Outsider Racing League race on Saturday night at Gateway if the leader makes a mistake. So out of turn 4, Hanshaw leads the field down the green. It's going to be a tense moment for everyone here as the pace car pulls off, and Hanshaw fires off quickly to try to get as much of an advantage as he can.
Yep, and they're side by side. Tanner Sharp and Frankie Hill as they race off into turn 1. Which is going to prevail? The guy with more tires. Kevin Finn also throws it in there. Almost makes contact with Frankie Hill.
Side by side for second place. The 15 going to get around that easily. And now he's going to quickly catch Hanshaw, launch to the inside. This is going to be really quick work, that 46.
Yeah, couldn't get the run through there, but we're going to be eyeing that run in 1 and 2. Ooh, he cuts off the 14, and Tanner Sharp still there on the inside.
Through 1 and 2, the 15 launches on corner exit, right along the door, got a little loose, trying to stay off the door panel at 46. But here he goes for the lead, and Frankenfield's going to take it away and clear the 46. On corner exit, he's going to slide up right in front, and has enough room to do so.
Up here comes Hanshaw. Looked like he wanted to get back. The 15 couldn't do it. Tanner Sharp and Kevin Finn make contact. Kevin Finn goes sideways.
Does he save it? No! Right into Paul Ross in a big mess out of turn 2. It's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 cars involved. Mike Stevens, Tate Lytle's in it. Brent Miller just came to a stop. Dave Hunt in it as well. Kloosterhoos. That was a lot of cars.
Yeah, a lot of cars involved with varying degrees of damage.
Scroll on back here, see how it started. It was the 3 and the 14 together. And the 3 kind of runs the 14 up the racetrack. They make contact, and then the 14 has it almost saved. And then that's where it all starts. It's really the 18 and the 56 that get together where a lot of the mess came from. It's hard to get everyone in one shot here because there's just so much space in the backstretch for everyone to fan out. Johnny Thomas got a piece of it as well. What a mess.
Yeah, that backstretch became a junkyard for a second.
It was a little longer than a second, and a lot of cars involved in that one. Here's Johnny Thomas's onboard view. Almost had it missed. I think it's clobbered front and back.
And then Paul Ross, he's going to go a lap down.
And a couple of the JTR cars, Richard Lafferty got a piece of it as well. So heading back live, you see both those cars in pit lane. They started right next to each other, and now they're in pit lane receiving crash damage repair. So that's a lot of cars involved. Almost half the field was spun or had to stop to miss that wreck as Frankenfield sits out front right now on fresh tires, and he's loving life right now.
Yeah, it was a great move for him, and I think that pretty much shows the 4 tires are pretty much the way to go. Although Tanner Sharp did hang in there, I think as far as the short run pace, I think you definitely want those 4 tires.
Levi Zielinski, the only car scored out right now. A lot of those cars that got involved, they were relatively light hits, so they should be able to continue, but certainly going to be at a performance deficit. Working lap 75 of 200, closing in on the halfway point of this race. We went clean and green for 43 laps. The last 30 have been troubled with 4 yellows for 18 of those 30 laps. We've had 5 lead changes, 4 since that first caution, so the intensity up front has certainly ramped up as well. Now the top 10 spots are Ford, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Ford, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Chevy, Toyota. So that a little mixed up there at the top of the grid as well.
Yeah, also right behind them, right outside the top 10 rather, Matt Grunberg, who started in the back. He's recovered from his little spin a few cautions ago.
You know, what's interesting I didn't notice is if you look at the back of that car, I didn't know you could paint the black insert that's behind the taillights on that 54. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I didn't know you could paint that. First time I've seen those taillights naked.
Oh no, there's been quite a few drivers that have done that for the Mustang.
Really?
It's kind of uncommon because it does look a little weird to the eye to not see them black.
Corey Lindsay comes down pit lane again. He'll get 4 tires and fuel. Josh Adams was able to recover from the interesting strategy he tried, and he's now on sequence with everybody and back in a position to go chase down Frankenfield, but he's going to need the green flag laps to do this. It's really difficult to use your speed to your advantage if you're behind a pace car all night. Actually, if we could, if this is not 1 to green, I would like to talk to Josh Adams if we could, but let's just wait 1 second and see what the situation is as the lights have come on and the nighttime begins here at Iowa. This should be 2 to green, but I'm not 100% sure. No, it is not. It's 1 to green, so we'll save that interview for another time. And I think this time what we're going to do is we're going to do a Sim TV sound surge on the restart here and let you listen to the beautiful sounds of these V8 motors under a beautiful evening here at Iowa Speedway. It is gorgeous out, the sky covered in gold and yellow, and not a cloud in sight. The temperature beginning to drop on the racetrack. It's dropped 5 degrees since the start.
Yeah, I'm sure drivers are going to be enjoying that. It's going to be more grip for them, and they can make even more aggressive moves as the night goes on.
All right, time for a Sim TV sound surge. We'll rejoin you if there's a wreck or after the sound surge is over. We'll see you in a moment. Well, there goes a lot of more cars, more issues again. Another caution. And this time, there were some more of our front runners involved. Josh Adams destroyed. And the 3 as well again. Or 3, yeah, he's also wrecked out. So this is just a mess here. What a big wreck that was.
Yeah, it took out quite a few cars and gave them a lot of damage.
There's a look. It was the 5 of Sam Close, the 3 of Tanner Sharp, and the 95 of Josh Adams where it started. And 3 wide, just too tight. Guys not giving each other enough room here, Finley. It was actually surprising it wasn't more cars.
I was going to say, I think one guy you want to ride on board is with Luis Salmaso, just narrowly made it out of that.
Yeah, I mean, still early in the race. I think you got to give a little bit more room than that. The inside and outside cars are mostly responsible. And 95, just the meat and the sandwich there, couldn't really do much. And really, I put this one mostly on the 3. I think he turned down just enough to kind of make that mess. And there's 00 in the 56. Tate Lytle, the 83, got involved again. The 94 went spinning. Oh, was that Grunberg as well that got a piece of it? Yes, it was. He went all the way to the inside wall to miss everything. And I think he was able to.
Yeah, he didn't get involved, but almost did. Had to go all the way into the little strip of asphalt on the infield to avoid that.
And it's hard to get everybody in one shot. There's so many people involved in this. The 21 McKeeboy was the car I was looking at. There's a lot more cars. Richard Hines again coming to a complete stop to miss the wreck. MVP of the race wreck avoidance award that I just came up with right now as field rolls through for another yellow. So again, for the first 44 laps, not a single yellow. In the next 44 laps, it's been 5 yellows for 23 laps. So this guy's getting on a bad habit here. They got to kick that and give each other some more room on the restart. There's a lot of laps left. There's really no need to be pinching each other and side drafting and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of laps. We'll give each other some room and get the green flag run going again here.
Yeah, I think really that aggression, hopefully it dies down a little bit, especially also considering how many cars have damage. A lot of people have damage ranging from just a small crinkle in fenders and to bumpers completely missing.
All right, now let's. Okay, I was going to talk to the 95. I don't really know who I want to talk to at the moment, so I think we're just going to hold tight and wait for somebody to kind of pique my interest here on the interview side of things. I was going to talk to the 95, but he got himself kind of put in a bad position there and ended up getting involved in the collision, and that car is now a lap down with heavy, heavy rear end damage. Two big wrecks have slowed the progress out of the 5 yellows we've seen. The first 3 relatively small. The next 2, very large multi-car accidents. But Frankenfield, Close, and Velez have been clear of most of it tonight. Salmaso has worked his way from dead last up to 4th. He's sitting in a position of strength right now, and that Rust-eze Ford Mustang looking really solid. Doesn't have a scratch on that car just yet. Maybe he's a dark horse to win this race.
Yeah, and even 3 of the top 7 at the moment right now have started back from 20th on back, so they've done a fantastic job moving themselves to the front. Grunberg, Hanshaw, and Salmaso.
Riding behind the pace car right now, the sun continues to set. You talked earlier about we might not see a whole lot of night action. Well, with the way this has been turning into, I think we're going to see a little bit more nighttime. So the track continues to drop in temperature. Taking a little look at the conditions. Still 5 degrees less than when we started. The air temp has dropped a little bit as well. The wind 13 out of the south, a nice southerly breeze. Clear skies now from the partly cloudy we started with. And doubling up for the restart. So Frankenfield's going to choose the outside lane. It's going to line up before Salmaso behind him. Then Kyle Hanshaw in 6th place is the other car on the outside row starting up there. We come back for our 5th restart of the night. 15, 5, 48, 4, 52, 46, your top 3 rows. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, Frankenfield with a great jump. Salmaso now trying to fight with Sam Close's teammates going at it for 2nd place.
Off into turn 1, everyone's got to give each other plenty of room. Side by side between Dave Hunt and Lafferty. Tate Lytle trying to recover. That car's all beat to hell. He's trying to get that thing back up in contention to win this race. But up front, Sam Close is closing in on Chad Frankenfield. Maybe the 5's got something for the 15.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do anything here. Has really been closing in and going through the corners pretty greatly. So haven't talked a lot about him for the first half of this race, but as we approach the second half, this 5 car definitely starting to come into his own.
Battles all over the racetrack. Everyone is trying to find racing room. The 83 of Johnny Thomas has had a lot of his body work taken away tonight, trying to recover. There's the 14 of Kevin Finn, who kind of tipped off that whole accident side by side with the 83. That's for 18th on the racetrack. They're both on the lead lap. But for the top spot, though, that 5 car all over Chad Frankenfield for that lead.
Yeah, actually gave him a little bit of a nudge on corner exit. Here he comes with a big run to the inside in turn 1. He's seen that inside be really good through 1 and 2. Can he get it done? No, Frankenfield powers it out of the corner.
Throttle up on the exit, and he's going to get that spot. And here comes Salmaso to the outside lane. 3 OG cars attacking that 15 through the middle of the corner. 48 of Velez now part of the fight. 4 cars all battling for the lead.
Yeah, all Ford Mustangs here fighting for the top spot. It is on here.
See on the graphic there, it's 4 Fords and a Toyota Camry, the top 5 right now. That Camry Hanshaw sitting back and watching the Stallions fight up at the front of the field, working lap 88. And Frankenfield extended the lead the last couple laps and was pulled away 0.2 of a second. But that's not a whole lot of room here, fitting as Salmaso is under attack now from Velez. Behind him, more battles, Justin Kolb. And even Brent Miller, who's involved in an accident, he's sitting 8th right now, and Lytle resurging from his collision as well.
Yeah, Lytle trying to make up for the ground he has lost. He's slowly moving up through the field. And now here comes Kolb. He had a big run. Hanshaw's not going to do anything with it. But Grunberg up into 5th place. He's now setting his sights on Nathan Velez up heading 4th.
He's a dangerous driver here, starting 25th up to 5th. Has been involved in a couple accidents. Ooh, he scrapes the wall off into turn 3, but running the way outside lane, maybe preserving some tires for the end of the run here. Caution again. Frank Sims this time. back and take a look. Is this all on his own? He actually hit the apron, Finian. That's we've seen that a couple too many times.
Yeah, that's a big thing you can't do here at Iowa is clip that apron, especially in 1 and 2. A lot of drivers are prone to it. You get such a good run, just try to stick to the inside, but if you clip that apron, there's a almost 80% chance that you're going to go spinning around, and more often than not,
this was a little embarrassing for the 75 because he probably could have had it saved if he had just locked it down, but he got into the attempt to chase it, and that's when he got himself into trouble. He could have saved it right here, just locking it down, but kept continuing to fight it, and just crashed himself all on his own after that. And that's something you got to learn how to handle. You know, you get sideways a lot, and it's how you react to that that determines whether or not you crashed. And for the 75, he kept it out of traffic, but that really shouldn't have been an accident there.
Yeah, actually, a lot of times in a wreck like that, the best thing to do is almost do nothing. Just kind of keep the wheel relatively straight. Don't fight the car move around, and a lot of times it'll end up correcting itself.
Yeah, here's you can see the steering wheel work here. Just gets behind and is just sawing at it back and forth, and you're never going to catch up with it, is the lesson I learned. So you just got to kind of let it go. And the worst thing you can do, which I did on Friday night, is counter steer too much at the exit of a corner. When the banking drops out, you regain that grip, you'll snap right back to the right and take everyone with you. We saw the 14 kind of do that, but of course he got turned, so it wasn't really his fault. So Frank Sims spun around here on his own, causing the 6th yellow of the night. And these guys, it's a great race if we could ever get some green flag laps rolling here, Finian, but we started out really clean, and then these guys are just losing concentration here a little bit. I mean, they showed that they were capable of running clean, and they just haven't done that the last 50 laps or so.
Yep, indeed. And Justin Kolb in the 52 is going to try something out. He's going to stay out this time. I think the only one of the leaders to do so. Yep. So he's going to be out there on old tires, everyone else on new ones.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times I like to berate people for trying this strategy, staying out, because more often than not, you just become a hazard out there on tires that you know are inferior to the rest of the field. But in a situation like this, you can't really blame a guy like Justin Kolb, because with yellows coming out this short between, there's really no reason not to do this, because you're going to come down to pit road in 10 laps anyway. So usually, you know, if this was a year ago, I would have berated the 52, but now kind of praising the move here. I think this will be a good result for him. As long as we don't get that green flag run now, he'll be safe.
Yeah, I also think a lot of times too, it really depends on where the car is running when they decide to stay out. If you're a guy in the top 5, top 10 that decides to do it, they're fine. But if you're a guy running outside the top 20 and you decide to stay out there, that's a little bit of a question mark. And also of note, Frank Sims, he has been disqualified for causing 2 incidents already tonight.
Yeah, that's why you have rules like that, though. I mean, it's frustrating, especially in a place like Iowa where the cautions are longer than they really should be. I mean, 2 yellows, that's enough, and Frank Sims will have to park it for the end of the night. So we have a couple retirements. Paul Ross, I think, has pretty much called it a night in his number 18. So, oh, actually, you know what? He's actually about to return to the racetrack, isn't he? Getting tires on that car. And
yeah, I think so. So he's going to keep it out there, but he's very close to that margin, though. One more lap, and he's going to be done.
Yeah, I'm not really liking his chances here, especially with the field rolling through turn 3. He's got to get rolling quickly. Keep this night alive. With how it's going, it's worth it to keep rolling because you might gain a couple spots. You know what? You're going to at least get 1 with Frank Sims disqualified. And probably more. But looking right now as Kolb runs out of turn 4, we're watching that green number 18 in pit lane, and he's still sitting there. I think this is going to be it for the 18. If he doesn't get rolling soon, there he goes. Last second, he gets rolling. Closing on halfway here, Finian, and Justin Kolb's going to have the restart. Going to choose the outside line for this. To roll onto the back straight away. Frankfield's going to be on the inside groove. I don't think it'll take Chad too long to get on by, but we'll see how the 52's tires hold up. We'll see if he can get a quick yellow here to get himself back on sequence.
Yeah, I think that's what he's hoping for, and now honestly, at the rate we've been going over the last 50 laps, can't blame him. That's a pretty good strategy to look at. We've seen quite a few times where that's the best strategy to play, get yourself some track position, then get yourself on equal tires. So we'll see what happens. Does if you get the caution, or will he end up dropping back from a green flag run?
Well, there's always a chance to beat a caution when you pull this strategy, so you got to be careful. Give each other lots of room. No need to be pinching each other with 105 laps to go. Green flag back in the air, and the 52 launches strong on the restart.
Yep, definitely doing a great launch. Salmaso and Close resuming their battle from earlier for third place. Salmaso going to win that fight easily. Here comes Frankfield now roaring around the outside.
Yeah, that didn't take him too long, about a half a lap, but he's going to drive right around the outside of the 52. And here comes Salmaso and Close. They're going to try to get to the outside as well, so the 52 very quickly learning this is not really the strategy to do if you have more than one lap of green flag running. Drops to third on the first lap out and going to lose third as well to the fourth place driver Sam Close. Side by side into turn 2, the 48 of Velez. And also in there is the 54 of Grunberg, finally making his way up towards the top 5.
Yeah, and also how about Callahancha too with the strategy he pulled earlier that got him some track position and has been hanging around the top 10 for quite a bit, so we'll see what he can do. He's also got Tate Lytle in behind him, and Lytle is still trying to make up some spots.
Yeah, it has actually worked out for him, so that strategy he did lose that ground pretty quickly, but he has stayed. He was down buried in the 20s earlier in the night, but he's certainly turned that around. Grunberg to the inside of Velez, took a look. He will pass Justin Kolb in turn 4. And behind Jordan McKeeboy, who was involved in that last one of those most recent collisions on the inside of Richard Lafferty. Here comes Austin Derbyshire on the outside lane. Bit of a stack up here. Derbyshire with a big run in the outside groove. There's 95 and 14 also together. They're on the lead lap, both of them 14th and 15th.
It's amazing considering the damage to Adams, of course, still running pretty decently, trying to just make up some ground. Oh, big crash with the 94 Brandon Kusnus, Derbyshire involved.
Yeah. And another big one. And Corey Lindsay also involved, so Blurry Motorsports, 2 of their cars in it big. And the 9 of Nick Miller might have also been involved in this collision, but you have to go back and take a look for Corey Lindsay.
Oh,
what happened to the 94?
Separate incident. Yeah, the 94, yeah, those 2 separate incidents there.
94 just got loose, and that's exactly what I talked about just a caution ago, Finney, and overcorrecting. You know, you tried to save it, and you just, every time you do this, you're going to hook back to the right in just a big collision. Then we mentioned the other incident. The 9 of Nick Miller, and Miller flies in here, and he already had damage. The 00 is the car we were looking at here. And sails off. He was already sideways and just crashed trying to slow on down. That's a real shame. So, unassisted accident for the 94, but again, you know, I don't know what happened here, Finney. Everyone was doing so well, and then it just seems like we've all kind of lost our concentration, and they're just struggling to make it around it's 4 lap turns, guys. You know, there's 6 or 7 cautions in, and I'm starting to lose faith in these guys a little bit. They had 43 very clean green laps, and I just don't know what's happened and what's gone different and gone sour here. More retirements. Derbyshire. Cogswell may be retired as well. Klooster, who is definitely retired.
Yeah, he's decided to call it a night. He's left the servo, so Derbyshire too.
Yeah, so I think
call it a night after his damage.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna have to, you know, we have to remind these drivers that you get sideways, lock it down, or let go of this, you know, let go of everything and just let the car save itself, because it will. If you try to save it and correct it, you will end up in the wall 100% of the time. I did that exact thing. You know, they tell you practice what you preach. I certainly didn't on Friday. I wrecked half the field of the VRL race at Gateway doing the same thing, but you learn very quickly once you do it once that you don't do that again. And the 75 is guilty of it, as is the 94, but you know, got to know when you're wrecked and just accept it. And caused a bigger collision, and also involved 2 of his teammates as well. So really not a great, you know, 3 of the Blurry Motorsports cars all kind of involved in that collision there as well. There's definitely, how would you say this, Finian? I mean, I'm pretty confident that most people could drift one of these Cup cars pretty solidly with a little bit of practice. Don't you think? I mean, they're pretty easy cars to kind of hang out sideways with a little bit of practice. You know, go to the centripetal circuit and hang the rear end out. I mean, they're pretty balanced race cars. They will slide sideways under control. It's just you have to teach yourself how to control the car on the limit at that sideways. You know, when you don't have rear grip, you have to learn how to control that. I just feel like these guys focus so much on racing that the car control part is lost a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I mean, really, also, the thing is, you gotta, you know, a lot of people don't think about it, but part of practicing, you know, racing, you also gotta practice crashing. I think
Yeah,
is
no, it's
a really big thing that people don't think about too, because it's very easy to, once you crash, people think, or start spinning, you know, people think it's over. But I mean, if you could really practice how to save it, or practice what to do when you're sideways, it could really help protect your car from getting damaged and save you a lot of races.
there's definitely a fine line between letting it go and saving it, and it's one of those situations where if you haven't practiced saving it, you probably shouldn't save it. You should lock it down, and I think a lot of drivers, you know, like Chad Frankenfield last night in the truck race, he spun out, but he spun to the inside and didn't take anyone with him because, you know, Chad Frankenfield's a very talented race car driver, and he's one of those guys that I think knows how to crash. And he locked it down and kept himself out of trouble and everyone else out of trouble just because he knew to lock it down and spin. There are other drivers, I think I'd put Grunberg in this category, that can really handle slipping and sliding and can save the car without creating a bigger hazard. And it's how you handle the results of a loose situation that determines that. So hopefully we can get a green flag run going in here again, because it's not a whole lot of fun to watch cars pace around for 2 hours. And hopefully we can get the last 100 laps of this relatively green. It's a real shame because short tracks are fun. Short tracks are more fun to watch than intermediate tracks, I think. But it just seems that they're definitely difficult for people to get green and clean for. You know, Bristol has always been a terrible race. I don't think we've probably maybe had one good Bristol race on SimTV, and it was mediocre at best in terms of the cautions. So short tracks are difficult, we know that, but gotta maintain your risk assessment here. Going back to the green flag. Don't put yourself in a bad position. Frankenfield, Salmaso, Velez, Close, Lytle, Gruenberg, your top 6. Frankenfield in control of the field. Green flag back in the air.
Yep, and a great start for Frankenfield as usual. Salmaso trying to ike ahead of Velez on the inside. Can Velez do anything to combat him?
Don't think so. I think this 4 car is quicker on raw pace as we exit turn 2 down the back straightaway. Big wad of cars. Little on back to 14. Nope, almost got into the 53 at Dave Hunt. That's a little risky. 3 wide out of turn 4.
Yeah, through all the smoke. How about I see Josh Adams? He's up in 8th place with his car torn up. It's looking a lot better as he's repaired it over the night, and he's trying to get some positions back.
You know, it's amazing after all the cautions we've had. There's guys still trying 3 wide, Finny, and they're resilient little buggers. They won't. If they see an opportunity to make a pass, they're going to do it, as Lytle's going to split him 3 wide out of turn 4 again, as the 54 goes to the inside lane, move himself up into 4th spot. 5 of Sam Close is in a position where he's got to give up or let up here, and he does, but Hanshaw's going to take a run to the outside lane as well.
Yeah, Hanshaw using momentum to work, and Lytle made that pass work. Almost, as actually Grunberg still trying to fight him on the inside, but Lytle's going to get that nice run off turn 4. He'll clear that 54 and take away 4th spot.
For 4th place, that battle still heating up. They caught Velez now for 3rd, so it was a battle for 4th. Now it's for 3rd. The 56 all over the 48 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Lytle trying to make work on fresher tires than the guys ahead. First 4 cars stayed out on older tires, so Lytle taking advantage of that. Tried to look to the inside of Velez, couldn't get it done.
Lytle was involved in a collision, not of his doing earlier tonight, trying to recover from that. Gruenberg down to the inside. He's going to take a spot away and set his sights on the 48 as well, side by side for 4th place. Going to make it for 3rd here in a moment. .90 laps to go. Frankenfield out in front by 0.6 of a second, fighting all over the racetrack. Lytle and Velez still side by side. Lytle's going to get it now and clear the 48 caution again.
Ooh, big wreck on the back straightaway. See Richard Hines involved, and I think Corey Lindsay as well.
Yeah, Tanner Sharp involved in this one again. And I don't think Tanner Sharp was involved in how it started. It was Richard Hines on the apron again. And the 3, I don't know what happened. Damn, I gotta get another look at this. Oh, the 3 just jerked to the right. And, you know, this goes back to knowing how to crash here, Finian. I mean, there's a mile between that spinning car and Tanner Sharp, but he still jerks back to the right and just took out that 8 car with him. So, unfortunate for Richard Lafferty. He got a big piece of that as well and didn't really need to be involved. But, again, the apron is an age-old thing that, I mean, you talked about before the race even started, is that apron is treacherous, and Drivers will still get on it. Back down pit lane. And the cycle just continues to repeat itself here, Fanny. These guys gotta start giving each other more room. And Richard Hines, you know, that's a mistake that everybody makes. But the 3 car getting into the 8, I mean, that really wasn't... That could have certainly been avoided there. Facial awareness as well. And
yeah,
as the night goes on, we get harsher and harsher judging these things, but you kind of have to. I mean, at a certain point, they went 43. They're capable of running green flag laps. We've talked about that. This is a very talented group of individuals. They're very capable of running green races. We saw it last week at Charlotte. There's really no excuse for when they're this talented and they're just having a race that just continues to be under yellow this far in. I mean, you got to break the cycle eventually and stop this, because you know this isn't fun for the drivers. It isn't fun for people watching. You know, it's not broadcast that people will come back and watch. Carp stays out on the racetrack. Curious to see what the reasoning for that is. And I think usually we give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to accidents, and I think that's the fair thing to do most of the time. We roll through our 8th caution of the night.
Yeah, it looks like Tanner Sharp. I'm not sure if he stayed out. I think he did.
Yeah, you know, we talked about this earlier with the 52. We saw it didn't work. You know, I'm kind of hoping the 3 will come down here because, you know, if you're on the lead lap and well, he is, but if you're like the 52 on the last time, he was up towards the front. He gained a couple positions by staying out, but he wasn't really a huge risk. I think this is a risk for Tanner Sharp to be involved in a crash and then to stay out and inherit the lead of the race. I don't really think this is a very safe decision to make. He's been involved in caused 2 collisions tonight. One being with Kevin Finn. Here he comes down pit lane, going to make that hard left and get himself out of that position. So, amen to that. But Frankenfield will take over the lead. Salmaso will take over 2nd place. So Paul Russ has actually gained a lap back. He's only 9 down now. And that car's actually, well, it's got body panels on it at least.
Yeah, honestly, after all the crashes that we had lately, he definitely looks to be in a much better shape than other people. However, he's got a really big hurdle to pass. This is the 9 laps down that he is. So pretty much all he can do is really just pick off people that are going to be retired.
Well, I think Richard Lafferty is going to be one of those people. Nick Miller is that car. I can't see that making it another 85 laps without blowing up. So that's at least 2 spots there. Matt Grunberg is as high as he's been all day in 3rd. After starting 25th, working his way through the field. He's been involved in a couple accidents, but that car is about as clean as it's going to get with how it's been out there tonight. 1 to green. We'll line back up. Wave arounds for the 18 and for the 9. 15, 4, 54, 56, 48, your top 5. Josh Adams. You talked about Josh Adams just before that yellow and his resurgence up. This is great rebound for the 95 here, Finian. Making do with what could have been a terrible, terrible night.
Yeah, I think also a lot of that has to do is that really the most amount of damage he has is to the rear of that car. Spoiler also looks in a pretty decent shape, a little bit crooked here and there, but doesn't seem to be hurting performance that much. That car probably not good as it was at the beginning of the race, but definitely still a contender, at least for a solid top 5 if he continues on. So we'll see what he can do here on this restart. Also, Luis Almaso in 2nd place. We'll see what he can do. His car is starting to look stronger and stronger as this race progresses.
Yeah, he is definitely getting better as the night goes on. The track is cooled from the beginning of the race, and maybe changing how some of these cars react on the racetrack. Green flag flies again with 84 laps to go.
So I'm also trying to defend both lanes off of Grunberg and Lytle on the outside. Lytle, again, just great recovery for him. Ooh, scrapes the wall just a little bit. Will still clear Grunberg off turn 2.
Field all duking and diving for position. '52 Justin Cole tried that strategy earlier, sitting in 12th place right now. Got kind of buried in the pack, trying to recover some of those positions that he got with that strategy call. Ooh, a block by McKeeboy on Dave Hunt down into turn 3. He's going to take that opportunity to get by the 14 to Kevin Finn as well. And Dave Hunt's going to take a head of steam. And Kolb takes a hard left out of turn 4. He'll go 3 wide down into turn 1.
Yeah, we haven't heard much of Kolb. He dropped back after going on no tires, so he's been trying to make up for some lost ground.
He got 2 spots in one corner. He's going to have to give one back to the 53. Closing on 80 laps to go now. Moving back up, Matt Grunberg has slipped to 4th on the restart after restarting 3rd. Tate Lytle up into 3rd place. Salmaso last time through was about a 10th off of Chad Frankenfield's pace. So I don't know about the pace to go get that 15, but certainly he's got enough to hang with him as McKeeboy goes back to the bottom of the 52.
McKeeboy trying to look for a spot, can't get it done. Kolb just too much, a lot stronger than that 21 at the moment. Brent Miller is looking to be inside of McKeeboy now.
Mike Stevens, after starting 3rd tonight, had a kind of a miserable first stint, but after all these accidents, he's actually starting to gain some spots back. That Camry is hurting, but trying to claw his way back through the field after starting 3rd and dropping back throughout the first run. Sam Close on the back of Velez, looking for 6th.
Yeah, and here he comes with a bit of a dive to the inside of the corner here as they approach turn 4. Can't get it done there.
Everyone kind of spread out now. I think the chance of a caution has diminished greatly the last couple laps, which is a good thing to hear. So it's Frankenfield and Salmaso out front. They're 3/10 over Tate Lytle. It's Grunberg, Josh Adams, Nathan Velez, Sam Close, Kyle Hancock, Kevin Finn, Dave Hunt. Your top 10.
Yeah, Dave Hunt also, you mentioned, having a really good night, starting 24th all the way up into 10th, so a good run for the 53.
Velez and Sam Close fighting hard for 6th. Close is closing that gap. It's down to about a 10th and a half of a second.
Yeah, actually, both of them are starting to catch up to Josh Adams, who's falling a little bit off pace off of the back bumper of that 54. And starting to fall into the clutches of Velez and Close.
Watching on the rear bumper cam of Velez as the 5 closes. He's going to take a look to the inside out of turn 2. Maybe off into turn 3. Here he goes. 75 laps to go. Chad Frankenfield has led the most laps by a large margin, 0.6 of a second over Salmaso.
Close keeps trying to make that move in turn 3 and 4. Just not going to work. Here he is in 1 and 2. Tries to throw it up in there, but Velez with a really nice run on the outside lane. That outside starting to get better and better as the night goes on and more dominant.
We talked about Josh Adams about a lap ago, how he's falling off the pace. Well, he's fallen into the clutches of the 48 and the 5, and that damage does seem to be hurting him under the longer green flag runs. Oh no, they make contact, and the 48's going to spin. Does he save it? He does. Great work, Nathan. That was a very well done save there. Excuse me. Made a little bit of contact. I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I choked on my happiness. And Sam Close, excellent job by Close to miss this as well. That could have been a way bigger accident than it was. Wow. Excellent work.
You okay?
I don't know. I can't tell. Is that what a seizure is?
I hope.
Lytle and Grunberg fighting for 3rd. This is heating up.
Yeah, definitely starting to heat up as Grunberg's come back into his zone. Was absent for the middle part of the race after he got damaged and had a little bit of a loop, but here he is fighting back up with Lytle. And it's kind of amazing, all these guys, Adams, Lytle, and Grunberg, all getting damaged and getting spun around, all back up here in the top 5.
And Grunberg tried to launch that attack, couldn't do it. Let's go back to the pack a little bit. That's Tanner Sharp, Mike Stevens fighting for 14th. Couldn't quite do it. We'll jump back to battle for 3rd, and Grunberg has lost a little bit of ground.
Yeah, he's lost a bit of ground. Lytle's continuing to defend that 3rd spot. Not much of a change really for our top 2 drivers, though. Salmaso and Frankenfield, that gap's kind of evened out between them. Not much of a gain.
Fight for 8th place, Kyle Hanshaw, Kevin Finn, Justin Kolb. All locked in a head-to-head battle through turns 3 and 4. Kolb throttles up. Ooh, that got a little bit tight there at the exit of the corner, but gave each other plenty of room. Grunberg got around Lytle for third.
Yeah, he did an excellent dive in turn 3. He's able to get past 56, and now he's going to continue his march on forward. Also behind them, Sam Close got around Josh Adams, and now Velez trying to do much the same.
But Josh Adams is slipping off the pace, 2 tenths slower than the leader last time through. Behind, there's a 4-car battle, still for 8th place. It's not over yet. Colt's got it, but Hanshaw wants it back.
Oh, yeah, Finn's looking to the outside of Hanshaw. This can get dicey real quick. Colt's going to make it on through. Now Finn trying to cut off Dave Hunt, and he's going to make a big dive.
That was a huge dive down into turn 3, but he made it stick. But he's going to lose all that ground on corner exit. So he made that dive and made it work, but wasn't able to clear the 52. Oh, real tight on turn 2. Holy cow.
Yeah, barely inches between them. Hanshaw's going to go around the 14. Forgy tries to fight back here, but I think you know what's going to happen here. Hanshaw rockets off turn 4, gets the spot, and so will Dave Hunt.
Dave Hunt clears the 14 of Kevin Finn. Meanwhile, out front, Frankenfield leads by 0.8 of a second. And it's growing. Adams and Velez, they were side by side off of turn 2. They still are. The 48's got a great position here. If he can just get the run off of 4, it's going to be hard, but he's going to try to clear the 95, and he does, just in front of the 95.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to fight back on the inside, but I just don't think he's got the car to do it at the moment. I'll dive in there. Velez looks like, oh, gas it up mid-corner.
Oh, there he goes. No, he turned him. He turned him around. Caution out. What was that all about?
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. That was 100% on the 95 there. And that looked really intentional. It's hard to kind of break that fact there.
Yeah, I don't know. The first one, I guess you could argue.
No, yeah, the first one I think is accidental. I don't really quite get the second one.
And then the weird one is that he just kind of, he looked like he slowed down, tried to give Velez room, and he just thought, I'm going to finish him off, and just turned him.
Yeah, well.
I've never really seen a wreck like that.
Yeah, the 95 certainly is going to be on the receiving end of some criticism for that one, rightfully so. That was pretty blatant in my eyes. And that's a bit naughty. You get a slap on the wrist for that one, probably. Caution back out after a short green flag run. So 95 is going to be in the doghouse a little bit. And I'm sure that Nathan Velez is a little bit heated inside that race car.
Yeah, that was not the first time they made contact. Remember what happened earlier in turn 1 that almost brought out a caution? Velez went sideways trying to save it. That was also contact with the 95, so...
I have to think back because it's been a couple laps since that happened, but didn't the 95 turn in on the 48 then as well, from the outside?
Yeah, he turned in. Again, that wasn't really... That was just kind of a racing thing, but I think Velez probably not going to like the fact that he was just turned into twice by the same car.
I was going to say, under no circumstance did the 48 do anything to deserve getting dumped. That's my question, you know? So, yeah, definitely naughty by the 95. We don't normally see him do stuff like that, but slap him on the wrist for that one, and hopefully he won't do that again. Frankenfield wins race off pit road, but Matt Grunberg sits in second, and this is a dangerous driver to have P2.
Yeah, and again, I haven't really said it enough. Great recovery for him with the damage to his rear. Also, Lytle, again, up in third place, was able to get around Salmaso, so in pit road. So great job there by those guys. Again, I'm kind of curious, though, how his car is doing, because we saw him that he was a lot stronger in the beginning part. It is definitely a strong car. I don't think it's enough for the lead.
Don't think so either. He's got enough damage on that car that I don't really think he can win with it. But a top 5 would probably be like a victory to him. Sam Close, however, sitting in 4th. That car's in good shape. That car could go to victory lane. Okay, taking a quick breather just to calm down after a second. I don't know what happened in my throat there for two or three laps. I think I had a colony of wasps take over my trachea for a couple minutes.
I don't think that sentence has ever been said before.
R/brand new sentence. Checking in on a couple other drivers we haven't talked about a whole lot tonight. Jonathan Cogswell in the 27. He's currently sitting in 16th after starting 21st. That car is actually in reasonably decent condition. The Bob's Burgers on the side of that car. So a little bit of luck and a couple strategies to be played here. He could probably get himself up towards the top 10.
Yeah, I'm sure that's fine for him. Not to mention Johnny Thomas in quite a few laps after his car got wrecked. He's in 15th, just kind of riding about, I think, trying to get what he can, because that car is all kinds of torn up. The Courage the Cowardly Dog car.
Oh, that's an old throwback cartoon from our days as children. But, no, I mean, for Johnny Thomas, this is actually a pretty good run, considering he's been involved in a bunch of wrecks that he had nothing to do with, and really just sitting on the receiving end all night. And if you take that damaged car running 15th, that's a pretty good run, all things considered. 60 laps to go. And hoping that's the last time the pace car lights will shut off tonight, as one of the blurry cars gets a wave around. I think that's Nick Miller in 9, and indeed it is. He'll get one of his 2 laps that he's down back. Okay, double file. All right, pick a new winner for me, Finian. Who do you got? Don't pick Frankenfield.
It's going to be boring. No.
Don't pick Frankenfield.
All right, 54.
Wow, okay, you're real creative. Super creative. I still pick that for Salmaso. I think he's in a good position to come up there and sneak one away if these front guys get together.
Yeah, definitely think so. Also, 5 Sam close to, definitely in a good spot, looking to be pretty strong. And his car is also relatively untouched, so he's definitely got that going for him. His base car is about to turn off.
59 laps ago here at Iowa. We had a little bit of a messy streak in the middle, but back under green. The 15 launches off the inside lane this time.
Yep, and Franco electing the inside lane for the first time. He's going to get going, so will Grunberg, and behind them Close and Lyle duking it out. Salmaso nowhere to go behind him.
Salmaso got kind of trapped in there behind the 56. Didn't have anywhere to go.
And I was going to just plan out, try to find a place to go. Ooh, Vital clips the apron a little bit. He checks up. He's going to be slow off the corner. Salmas is going to take that spot. So will Hanshaw.
Any little mistake is going to get you're going to get trampled if you make any little mistake. There's a 52 of Justin Colton to the inside of the 14, and they're going to be trapped in behind the 56, who has just lost his momentum and cannot get it back.
So far, top 2 starting to split away. Grunberg and Frankenfield racing against each other in a world of their own. Samco's trying to close in. Adams hits the wall.
Yeah, 95 scraped the wall pretty hard off of turn 2. That's going to let Salmaso on by. He should be able to take 4th place away and clear the 95. He does. Lytle trying to fight back on the inside of the 46. That's speed for 6th spot. 3 wide down into turn 1. Oh, that got dicey. Still not out of the
really
clear
good
yet.
dicey.
Kolb has been sending it down deep into the corner along with the 14 to Kevin Finn, but they haven't caused any accidents yet tonight. Corey Lindsay blowing an engine. That'll be the end of his night down in 19th place. Another driver who hasn't...
Kolb, it's the turn.
Oh, this is a hornet's nest out of turn 2. This time it's not my throat. It's out in the back straightaway of Iowa Speedway. Field beginning to get strung out a little bit. Dave Hunt trying to chase down Tanner Sharp. Behind him, Velez and the 89 of Brett Miller fighting off the turn 2.
Yeah, Velez trying to make up for some lost ground. Ooh, Miller gets in tight and almost sends it loose. He's going to keep it under control. Oh yeah, Velez, as I was saying, trying to make up some spots. He goes to the inside now. Johnny Thomas.
Closing in on 50 laps to go. Frankenfield has led a huge majority of this race, but Frankenfield has been quicker the last couple laps, only by a little bit, but he is closing.
He's kept a really good gap. He's just managed it very well. Hasn't really separated between them. Hasn't really closed down.
You mentioned the aero wash tonight, Finian. It's a word we haven't really mentioned a whole lot here in recent weeks. What about trying to change your line to close in on that 15?
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to. You don't really have much of a choice, especially once the tires start to wear out. You want to get out of that aero shadow from the car in front. And I saw quite a bit with Adams when he was driving behind Frankenfield, looking for different lines and trying to get an advantage.
Maybe stuck in the air wash a little bit, but trying to close that gap back up. Battles all over the racetrack, but for the lead is one of the closer ones. The closest one right now is between Kolb and Hanshaw. They've just completed a pass. Now it's Lytle and Josh Adams up the road. They're fighting for a spot. Lytle getting his mojo back and re-clearing that 95. 50 laps to go. 3/10 between the leaders.
Yep, now there you see them changing lanes. Grunberg up high, Frankenfield down low in 3 and 4.
I think the 54 lost some ground only a little bit. It might be worth it later. There's some lap traffic up the road. Is that the 9? It's Nick Miller, the Blurry Motorsports car. 2 laps down in 19th.
And he's been struggling a lot. I'm amazed that car hasn't given up yet. He's still out there running around. 15
car to give up a lot of corner entry speed to get underneath that 9, and that's let Grunberg close up to 2.5 tenths back. So he did gain some time there. Tanner Sharp side by side with Hunt off of turn 4.
Yeah, they're fighting for position. Also up ahead of them, Justin Kolb just got around Joshua Adams. So Kolb starting to move forward with a pretty good amount of speed.
Sharp and Hunt fighting for a top 10 position at the moment. And right behind Velez trying to just kind of get back what he lost after getting turned by the 95.
And the D-Boy still trying to fight and defend his position on the outside, but Velez looking out to the inside of the 3 car.
For the top spot, though, Finian closing up. It's about 1.5 between the 54 and 15. And last time by, Grunberg was quicker.
Yeah, Grunberg is right there. He's all over the back of the 15. Now you can see him dive all the way to the inside, getting clean air.
Grunberg's
big dive into the corner.
Yeah, so actually, Frankenfield has actually changed his line to try to keep that 54 behind him. And it's going to make the 54, his efforts harder to pass, but it's also going to kind of slow the 15 down lap time-wise. So curious to see how this is going to turn out. The upper line isn't really where you make your time, it's where you defend from a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of defending, Sam goes up and having to defend off Luis Salmaso, who's charging up for a spot.
Salmaso is almost running as quick as the leaders. He's very, very quick. Trying to close up on Sam Close to get that spot away. Other passes going on in the meantime. Kyle Hanshaw's under attack from Kevin Finn. That's for 8th place. As Finn bounces off the wall in the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, and that allows Dave Hunt to get to the inside of that 14. And they're going to fight off the corner and almost is 3 wide for a second as Hanshaw slows up running the high line.
Side by side for 9th place. Finn probably in the better position if he can get to 3 and 4 alongside this 53. And Dave Hunt almost flew. Les slipped up on the exit of the corner, almost got to the back quarter panel of the 14, but didn't. And Dave Hunt clears the 14, but Finn's going to drive right around the outside to keep that battle alive.
He's got to be careful about drifting up. Almost gone to the wall there, but he's going to get enough of a run to clear that 53 for now.
Side by side, this is all a battle for 8th place on the racetrack. Hanshaw has it. Finn, Hunt won it. There's Velez trailing, trying to get back up to 7th place. That's Josh Adams just up the road with that rear bumper missing. And there may be some retaliation in the near future for that 95.
Cue the Jaws music, because he was really closing in on the 95 here. I am curious what he's going to do.
Or if he does anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that Velez has earned his revenge. I'm curious if he'll do anything or just continue on, feeling that it's not worth it.
Yeah, you know, in a situation like that, the 14 gets pushed up the racetrack. In a situation like that, I think the 48 is totally justified. I mean, that was really a senseless accident. If they had gotten together before, and you could put some blame on the 48, I'd understand that, but there really wasn't a reason for the 95 to turn the 48. So for the 48 to turn back a 95, I see no problem with that. And Sharp to the inside of Kevin Finn, taking advantage of the slow corner that Finn had the last time through.
Ooh, 53 aggressive defending almost cuts the nose off of Velez. Velez going to answer by chucking it to the inside.
They're all closing on the 95 of Josh Adams. This is dicey here because there's a lot of cars around, so even if Velez did want to do something, maybe he should hold off just so he doesn't take anybody else with him.
Yeah, Try to tell him that he's going to chuck it to the inside of Hanshaw, and he's going to try to take 2 spots.
Oh, used Hanshaw up a little bit on the exit of the corner. Mustang versus Camry. Ooh, Hanshaw gets right on the door. He gets up into the wall. And he'll lose 1, maybe 2 spots here. But he is hungry. You can tell he's coming.
What's he going to do? He's got the 95 right in front of him.
Closing in. Adams is driving on ice right now with the 48 breathing down his neck. Here he comes. Here it is. There it is. Retaliation. 95 hard in the fence, and the 48 spins. Well, maybe not perfectly executed. As the 18 of Paul Ross also gets involved, but worth a try, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it was worth a try. Well, yeah, Paul Ross getting any damage at the end there.
And I guess that's when you could cue the Danica quote.
Yeah, honestly, that was the first thing that came to mind.
Here's a look. Didn't really do a whole lot to the 95, which I think is what the 48 will be regretting more out of that situation. How will that be viewed in the rulebook as well? I'm curious about that. That was very much like the Joey Logano-Matt Kenseth incident, the way that 95 car hit the wall.
Yeah.
Didn't quite do it the way he wanted to.
No, yeah.
But certainly did give the 95 some more damage. I don't know if it'll be enough to prompt a pit road entry, but either way, I think that might have settled the score for now.
Ooh, was angry in the chat as some other drivers are getting angry at him.
And spun out, coming to pit lane, so yes, driving with your blood pressure high, probably not a great idea at this point. This race has had a little bit of everything. Well, a lot of some things, and a little bit of everything else. Johnny Thomas stays out. What do you think of that call?
I imagine he's probably going to come down on pit road. I'll be amazed if he actually does stay out.
Yeah, that was about a 30
No offense
lap.
to Johnny or anything,
Well,
but that car has definitely seen better days.
Yeah, it's also been a 30-lap run, so it would be near suicide to stay out there on old tires. Keeping an eye on this 95 and the 48. I don't know if this is completely done yet. Ooh, the 48 gets out of pit road. He actually passed Josh Adams, so maybe that was relatively successful in achieving what the 48 wanted. I don't know. I don't know how you gauge something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either, but Adams know.
I know it's going to get spicy out here, though. That's all I know.
Oh, one more incident out of either of them, and they're gonna get the DQ. Although I think at this point they probably care less about that.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters at this point. Oh, get the paprika out. It's getting spicy.
out of all the spice.
I don't know, right? That's the one that came to my mind. Ghost pepper? What do you want me to say? I don't have the heritage that you have. Oh, here comes the 95 Finian. Coming in fast. And I don't think we're done quite yet. Pulling up right alongside the 48, and then he's going to slot back in line.
Yeah, it looks like nothing's going to happen yet. The key word there is yet.
Maybe have they been told to knock it off by anybody?
I haven't heard that, but yeah, so I think they don't really need to. I think both these guys know what happens if they get another incident.
Well, does wrecking somebody under yellow count as causing a caution?
Oh, I think that's, yeah. I think that definitely is.
95 heads back down pit lane. And there must be pretty significant damage. I mean, he hit pretty hard. There might be some damage to the rear end of that car.
Yeah, I think definitely what Adams is doing right now, I think he figured since he's in the back, might as well fix up as much damage as he can.
So the racetrack got a little hot, a little spicy. We've had 10 cautions so far tonight for 47 laps. 10 lead changes as Matt Gruenberg has inherited the lead after all of this. Where'd the 15 car go, Finian? All the way back in 17th.
Yeah, we were so caught up in, oh, did he get a speeding penalty?
is checking to see if there was a penalty for the 15. We think it might be speeding.
I think it was. Yep, it was definitely speeding.
Oh, and the speeding penalty for the 15. It's going to put him to the back of the longest line with only 30 laps to go. That's essentially a death sentence for a race win.
Yeah, and I'm actually amazed that he got a speeding penalty. He usually is one I haven't usually want to avoid that, but yeah, definitely got speeding on entry there. So Frankenfield effectively just handed this race to Matt Gruenberg at the moment.
Matt Gruenberg is not upset about that, I tell you that. He's won a bunch of races. He's leading the points by coming into the night 64 points. It's not a small lead. He's got room to give up. Through turns 3 and 4. 30 laps to go. A 30-lap run to the end of the race. Gruenberg in control. Green flag back in the air, and he launches off strong.
Yeah, great launch for the 54. Behind them, Bose is going to go inside the high lane. He's going to try to get a run on 56 and the 4.
So I'm also trying to clear that 56. Couldn't do it. Here comes the 5 to the outside.
Yeah, close following Lytle on that outside lane. Definitely that lane starting to come into its own here. Samasa can't really do much on that inside.
Gruenberg pulls out a strong lead. Oh, the 3 car goes around down in turn 1. Does he save it?
Oh, he saves it.
No, but they're not done yet. Frankenfield gets turned, and there's going to be the caution right there. And the 11th caution of the night. This was off the bumper of Dave Hunt in the 53. Launched up in there, and yeah, just 2 cars again going for the same spot on the racetrack. No one really in particular to blame there. And the 2 and the 15 just tried to make it to the inside, and they couldn't quite get there. So, call me crazy, but I think that's a good thing for the 15. What do you think?
I would ask you to explain.
Okay, well, I'll explain. He ain't gonna pass everybody under green. I think he needs some cautions, and he could just stay out here to get some of his track position back as some other people head to pit lane. So I think he's in a good position. If there was some games played up at the front. We got to get a quick replay of the pit road entry by these leaders here, Finney, and that got a little tight. And good thing there's no commitment cone, because they both would have failed that test. All right, it'll be about a 25-lap sprint to the end. This race is run about 20 minutes longer than it was originally planned to run due to the yellows. At 11 of them, Johnny Thomas heads to pit lane, as does Tanner Sharp. Frankenfield gains a couple spots. That's what I was talking about. He's actually going to head to pit lane here. He's going to come out probably where he was running, or maybe even a little bit higher, but I like this for the 15. How about Tate Lytle in second place with that mess of a race car?
I know, it really, great job for him just keeping in it. I really thought he wouldn't have been up in the front, but hasn't really had the chance to really do anything up here. He's had some decent runs, but hasn't had a long enough run to challenge Matt Gruenberg or Frank for that matter. But we'll see what he can do here. I am just interested in seeing how this plays out. I do feel like Gruenberg, though, might run away with it.
He's in a really good spot to do so. Has he had 3 wins this season or 4?
3
wins. This would be his 4th win if he were to get it done tonight. Which would be most all drivers, I believe, right?
Yep.
The surprise is there. Josh Adams and Velez were right next to each other. Velez has hit pit road again. And they swap positions. I'm just still going to keep an eye on these guys through the rest of the night, because I guarantee you they're not going to be buddy-buddy even after the retaliation. So keep an eye on the 48 and 95. We'll take you there if they get next to each other. Meanwhile, Gruenberg leads this race after the 15 got a speeding penalty and then was involved in a recent collision. But I told you this is a good thing for the 15. He's lost a couple laps that he's got to go chase down the leaders, but he's back in 13th, so he gained a few spots and will be in a primary passing opportunity position on the restart on the inside lane. Well, these cautions at Iowa are long, aren't they, Finian?
Yeah, I know. Really, they really are. I don't know if iRacing, if it's just me, and it's always been like that, but I could swear that iRacing added an extra caution lap, and I don't know why.
In general, or just here?
No, in here, just here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think because it's probably technically classified as a short track. They probably give you an extra lap, but it really doesn't need it. Okay, well, take a look at our conditions. Track temp has dropped 6 degrees from the start. Wind still 13 out of the south, but the track has gripped up. We started the race with 43 laps of green flag racing. Then it was just a mess of cautions, one after the other. And then we had 30 laps of green flag running until the most recent collision. And now we're within 25 laps of the end of this race. It'll be a 23-lap run to the end, with Roomberg and Tate Lytle leading us back to the green. I think Roomberg's really the only driver in position to really win this race. Salmaso might have something, but he's going to have to struggle to get by the 56, who's going to be in front of him on the bottom on the restart.
How about also Justin Cope? He's snuck his way up into 6th.
Yeah, I told you, he's been slowly improving his performance the last couple weeks and has become a top 5 contender each and every week, so keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, the 48 and 95, they're going to restart directly next to each other. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And speaking of Justin Cope, too, after his great one last week at finish, he moves up 7 places. And he's actually in 10th. So he's got to put himself in a good spot to get into the playoffs. I'm sure he's going to want to improve on that here with a top 5. He's looking forward to it and in a pretty good spot for it.
23 to go, and we're back racing here at Iowa.
Close and Lytle are racing it off into turn 1. Salmaso with not much to go. Where does Kolb go in all this?
And Chad Frainfield trying to get out from behind the 89. Whoa! A big block on the 89, and he threw a huge block on the 15, and it was successful. That was nearly a crash.
Oh, hang on, we're not done yet. Big checkup with the 89. Here comes the 95 right in behind Velez. Oh boy.
15 gets by the 89.
Oh! Half spin up ahead. Oh, it's Lytle.
Oh,
and cars bouncing off each other. Everyone's all over the track. Somehow we just didn't have a wreck.
So Tate Lytle goes backwards quickly. Oh, the 14 spinning off turn 4. And a big one. More cars involved. Chad Frainfield makes it through, but there's all sorts of cars involved in this one. And Lytle's in the middle of it. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, that wreck took pretty much a lap to complete itself.
This is off the bumper of Sam Close. We'll start with that. And I'm going to have to zoom out the blimp cam to see everything that happened here, but the 5 and the 56 get together, everyone scrambles, and that's when this really gets wild. Everyone's bouncing off the wall, we saw that. And then the 14 car just up the road, he's going to clip the apron, get sideways, and then this is where it all goes wrong. Big mess.
Yeah, you should ride on board with Chad Frainfield because he is one lucky guy getting through this.
And he ended up coming out of this in 6th place, but here's his view. Look at this chaos.
Yeah, pretty much everyone around him in that wreck got involved. He was the only one in that group of cars to get through. It was honestly amazing that he got through unscathed.
This is, everyone sees opportunity when everyone gets all jacked up like this, and they're just so aggressive trying to make up spots. You can't blame them. I mean, they see opportunities to get spots, and this is the result.
So, remember how we said Frainfield was potentially out of this race? He's up in 3rd.
Well, I told you the cautions would be good for him. He's up in 3rd now.
Good. I mean, it really took a wreck to take out nearly half the field.
Yes, but I said the cautions would be good for him. I didn't specify how they were going to be good for him. I got my Larry Mack trends of the race going here, Vinny. I know what's going on.
Now, what I'm curious is what Grunberg is going to choose for lanes on the restart. I imagine He's going to take the outside lane.
Well, yeah, but is it going to matter? Because Frankenfield's got 7 lap fresher tires. I think the 15 is going to win this race at this rate. He's in a great spot. Well, 12 cautions for 57 laps. I don't know what our record is, Finian, but we're getting close to it.
I feel like our record's like 16 or 17.
It could. Is it that bad?
I feel like it has been that bad. I don't know where,
Maybe
but
it
I
was.
feel like we've had.
It could have been Hardline Bristol. That would,
That one was.
That would be my guess. Actually, you know what? If someone in chat wants to go pull up the most recent Hardline Bristol race and tell us how many cautions there were, that'd be awesome.
I feel like it might have been a fuel Bristol race, though. I think that might have been.
The Fuel Bristol race?
Yeah, one of them.
The first. I think it would be the first of the two. I would imagine.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'm thinking. I definitely don't think 12 is
Yeah.
close to the worst. I think it's around 16 or 17.
It's not a record you want to get close to breaking, and we're only a couple away from breaking it. Whatever it is, I don't think we've had more than 20. All right, well, I think Frankenfield has gotten a couple blessings here. He'll restart in third. Of course, the 54, if he's smart, will take the outside lane and trap the 15 behind the 52 of Justin Cole. But I just don't think it's going to matter that much.
Yeah, also Nathan Velez, who took his revenge out on the 95 a few cautions ago. He's up in 4th place after all that.
I think we all made him look a little silly after kind of wrecking himself, but in all honesty, it's actually worked pretty nicely for him. He's back up inside the top 5, and Josh Adams is trapped outside of the top 10 right now with even more damage.
So I guess Velez has had the last left for now.
For now. We're not done yet. J. Rebay says Bristol. Says there was 12 cautions before halfway.
Oh, yeah. that one.
That's the one we're thinking of. Okay, well, we're not quite to that level yet. And waiting for the lights to go off on the pace car, hopefully for the final time tonight. I doubt it's going to be, though. Lights are off. 16, it'll be a 15-lap run to the end. We've lost almost half the field. As Frankenfield lines up, ready to go racing. We are nearing the 2-hour mark of the broadcast, though, which at a short track is a little hard to get to. It has been a marathon of a night. We've been live essentially since 7:30 with the elites.
It's been a really long night.
Join APS. And I have work to do after to set up the links for tomorrow night's Grid Life race and the Spec MX 5 Sim Racing Challenge. So I got about a half hour worth of work after this. So, whew. And it's hot in here with this new CPU melting my walls off. Green flag back in the air, 15 to go.
Ooh, and a big scramble on the start that looked like close is going to make it 3 wide heading to 1, but Velez not a good start for him as Frankenfield dies to the inside. Cole's going to take away 2nd place.
Frankfield's got to get himself clear of the 48, then he can set his sights on the 52. The close goes to the inside. Does he turn him? It was close.
Yeah, very close indeed. Frankfield's going to go up into into Velez as he charges off the corner. 3 wide as they head off into turn 1. This can get ugly.
Not the position the 15 wants to be in right now, but he's probably going to get himself out of it relatively. Oh, the 46 gets... No, he gets turned. There's another wreck. Planning right here. They save it. They don't. No, they almost had it saved. They do. What an incredible move. 4 wide in the back straight down into turn 3. Are we done? I think so. Wow, that was awesome. And there they go. No. Wow. I am impressed.
Will they, won't they, but man, that's unfortunate.
Where was
for
this
Samasso.
car
He
control
dropped-
50 laps ago?
Yeah, unfortunately for Samasso, he got the short end of the stick. He got put all the way back in 11th here with very few laps to go.
Well, that was about 5 different crashes all in one. That didn't happen. Frankfield back on the bumper. Actually, he's got his bumper filled up by Sam Close in the 5.
And Close has been all over him since the drop of the green flag on the restart. And this hasn't been able to find a way around. And Frankfield, big dive to the inside of Justin Coe.
Oh, and he just needs to get by this 52. Then he can set his sights on the leader. Last time through, He was quicker than the leader by a tenth of a second. He could get there. He's got to get by this 52 quickly, though. He cannot waste any time.
And how about Kolb? If he holds off Frankenfield, there'll be 2 consecutive
Big
second
dive.
place finishes. Here comes Frankenfield to the inside. He goes.
And he might have to lean on the 52 a little bit. Up the racetrack. Oh, pushes him up, but not going to be able to do it.
Kolb coming down aggressively, trying to limit
Caution.
how far Frankenfield will come off the corner.
And shot.
Caution out.
And now we'll see how this one manifested itself. 46 and 27, and the 4 Salmaso got in the back of the 46. They both spun, and the 4 Alt F4 to kind of avoid the yellow there, and too late, didn't make it.
Yeah, Hancha had to check up after trying to avoid getting to Cogswell, and then Salmaso had nowhere to go as a result of that. But yeah, fortunate for Salmaso, was looking for a fantastic night inside the top 5, and then just all went wrong here on this last restart.
60 caution laps, 13 yellows, and what do you do if you're Chad Frankenfield? Do you stay out? I think you do.
Yeah, I think he kind of has to. I really don't think we're gonna have a long enough green flag run for it to matter. So I think he should stay out here.
No, he will
Grunberg's
not.
definitely staying out, and I think Frankfield's going to do the opposite, though. Oh, boy! Oh, did he beat Kolb on pit road?
And he didn't beat him onto pit road. It's whether or not he beats him off. So it's going to be a very tight race. He actually gained a little bit of ground on him here, though, but he has to tuck back in line. Going to hurt him a little bit. But they're going to lose a lot of track position here. I don't know if this was necessarily the call. But who knows?
Yeah, I definitely have to call I would have made.
I think you just
I'm
stay on
with
regardless
you.
of what the 54 did. I don't know if this is going to work out because they're going to be buried deep in the field here for the restart. I wouldn't be surprised if the 15 car gets caught up in a wreck here.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those scenarios where you kind of hope that a lot of people follow what you do, but you never really want to be in those situations because a lot of times people don't follow what you do.
Well, he did beat the 52 off. The problem is he's behind 8 other people. Other than the 54 Grunberg. So, green-white checkered rules, Finian, explain the differences from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so new for 3-wide, starting last week at Charlotte. Now we'll have one and only one attempt at a green-white checkered. So we're going to get a restart here. This will still be under regulation, but if we get the caution before the white flag, we'll get a chance to do one green-white checkered. And if the caution comes out, before we get to the white flag, race is over. They get to the white flag, they get to race it out to the end.
It'll be a 5-lap shootout. If we get a yellow, it will be our one and only attempt at the green-white checkered. That will be true even if it comes out immediately. And I think Grunberg has got this pretty much locked up. The 15 car deep in the field.
Yeah, I think Frankenfield, for any shot at the win, I think he needs that green-white checkered to get an extra caution to reset everything after he gets his restart. No doubt he's going to move up a few spots, but he's got a lot of cars ahead of him to try to even attempt to take the lead.
Well, in the laps led chart tonight, the safety car is pretty high up there, Finian. Looks like it is led at the very least 62 laps, which is about a third of the race. So it's certainly been up there. I know the 54 and the 15. The 15's led the most. I think the pace car is second. As we get... How is this still under yellow? God, these cautions take forever. It'll be 4 laps to the end of the race on the green.
Yeah, and actually, so I went and looked at, for fuel. Their second Bristol race actually had more cautions. It had 15.
Okay, so we're at, what, 13 right now?
Yes.
So we cannot possibly break the record tonight. We could tie it.
No, wait, no, that wouldn't be correct. We'll be one short.
Well, because we could get a yellow, there'd be a green, white checkered attempt, and we could get the yellow coming before the white.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah.
So you could, in theory, tie the record for the most yellows. If that Bristol race is, in fact, the one with the most yellows, which I think it is.
I don't know, I know there's one that we have.
Maybe New Hampshire ORL, maybe? Did that have more?
I don't think that had more.
I don't remember.
I had quite a few. I don't think it was more.
It's a lot. It's too many. We've seen a little bit of drama, some drivers angry with each other. But the Velez and 95 Josh Adams feud has kind of come to an end, and the 48 is really in the best position of the two. So that retaliation has worked out quite nicely for the 48.
Yeah, curious though if this will come back to haunt either of them in the weeks to come. Drivers have very long memories, as we've seen in the past. I'm curious if this will continue on throughout the season.
And we're only about halfway through. There's a lot of races left to go. 4 laps to the end of the race. We'll have 1 attempt at a green-white checkered, and I'd be damned if we don't use it. So coming back to the green, it'll be Gruenberg, Close, Velez, Sharp, Cogswell, Brent Miller, your top 6. Or top 5, rather. Top 6, whatever, however many names I said. Through turns 3 and 4. Pace car pulls off. It's Gruenberg in control on the inside lane. Sam Close is outside. Green flag back in the air. 4 laps to go.
Yeah, great jump for Gruenberg as usual, as well as Sam Close. And Tanner Sharp up here on the mix with his damaged car. I haven't seen him up here in a while, trying to go to the outside. Nathan Velez.
And Frankenfield's going to try 3 wide. Oh, there's almost 4 for a second. Henshaw on the fence.
Up, and here comes Frankenfield now. He's going to go from 10th to 5th in 1 lap. How about that?
Impressive. It's not going to be enough to get to the leader, I don't think. But if we get another yellow, there's always that possibility. For the top spot, it's 0.2 of a second between Gruenberg and Close as they rocket onto the back straight, side by side. 3 to go.
Yeah, Frankenfield now diving to the inside of Tanner Sharp. There he goes. Also trying to get Nathan Velez, but how about for the lead to the inside? Sam Close goes to Gruenberg side by side of the line. 2 to go.
2 laps left, the 5 and the 54. There's 1 more lap. If we'll get that yellow, we'll get an opportunity to restart the race. But Frankenfield is coming and coming quick. I don't think it's enough to get the leaders, but if they get together, he could finish as well as second. 1 more lap
still
to
diving
go.
to the inside.
Oh, he's getting there quickly, Finian. I don't know if it'll be enough, but for the top spot, side by side, white flag in the air.
Yeah, Close there. He's got 1 more chance really to the inside here of Gruenberg. Can he make it stick, or will they make contact?
Out of turn 2. 1 final corner for the 5 to get an opportunity at the 54. Down into turn 3. A big dive. Side by side. He's going to try to clear him. Does he clear him? He does. Sam Close out of turn 4 in the wall.
Oh, he gets to the wall. They make contact. Who's going to get there first? Frankenfield sideways across the line will win this race. How on earth did he pull that off?
What an incredible finish. He crossed the line, airborne and on his side. His motor is blown, but he's victorious. What a finish! Here's some replays. Wow. He dove in deep. They get off at turn 4. The 5 committed, slammed the fence, and it all went together after that. And Velez finished second.
That was incredible. Props to Chad Frankenfield there.
Wow, what a move he made. Josh Adams got 4th after all that as well. Oh my goodness. Hold on, we gotta watch this in slow motion here. As they come off of turn 4. This was the move. Close, committed to the fence, bounced off. Slides across the nose of the 15. The 54 gets together with the 15 of Frankenfield, and then they're just going to spin across the line, and the 15 will cross the line. All 4 tires off the ground, airborne. That is a stylish way to win, and Velez flies in there, and wow, just big collisions afterward. But what a finish to that race.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, after Frankenfield made 5 positions up in 1 lap, I thought, maybe you'd have a shot, and then it started to look less and less. But somehow in that final lap, he just made enough. And if Sam Close didn't hit the wall, I don't think Frankenfield would have had a shot. I think that was perfect. The fact that he hit the wall, Gruenberg got into him, and then Frankenfield was able to just hike ahead, coming spinning across the line.
Wow, Tanner Sharp gets a 3rd out of that. Kolb gets a top 5. Here's a look at your race results. That was, not a great race, but that was a fantastic finish. Last corner, last lap, 3 wide for the lead. They get together across the line. And unfortunately for the 54 Gruenberg, it's only going to be a 7th. And for the 5 of Sam Close, a 6th. I think we know the 3 we have to talk to, though.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll be with them in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back live to SimTV. After a wild finish, Matt Gruenberg finishes 7th. Matt, leading on that restart, thought you might have had something to get around the 5 on the outside lane, but he sent it into turn 3 out of turn 4. What happened there? Walk us through that finish.
Yeah, I kind of thought that the 5 was going to do a little slider there. I was kind of anticipating it, and then I was going to turn down beneath him as he hit the wall, but then I realized Chad was there at the last second, and it just kind of ended how it did. 7th place, not really what we wanted tonight, but all in all, I mean, not a great race. I'm sure you guys ran out of things to talk about, but it is what it is, and good win to Chad, and we'll move on to wherever we go next.
All right, Matt Gruenberg, 7th place tonight. In 2nd, coming to the checkers, 7th at the line. Matt, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
It'll be now the driver who finished 6th tonight, Sam Close. Sam, I got to give you massive credit for trying that move. That was Carl Edwards' Kansas 2008 style dive bomb into turn 3, pounding the wall out of turn 4. Would you do anything different if you could do it again?
Yeah, I really would. I think I could have done it without doing that. I had Chad in my mirror. I think I should have just backed it up a little bit more, and I still could have got the run on Matt with him being on a little bit older tires. But it was sticking pretty good all night. You could kind of get off of the bottom. It just didn't turn. I went ham, and it didn't work out. I really think I should have just backed it up a little bit more, and I still would have been able to get the run. So I feel like I kind of threw that one in the waste bin.
Looking back, though, I mean, a 6th place result after the night that really took out a lot of competitive race cars. Do you still view a 6th as a reasonable result? Are you still okay with that, or you still wish you could have done the last lap again?
No, I'm not okay with that. I haven't gotten a win yet this year. I really wanted to get locked into the playoffs. It would have been good for points. I'm not okay with the way that one ended. I'm pretty disappointed in myself. You don't get many opportunities to win these with guys like Chad and Matt in the race, and the strategy came my way, and I just feel like I kind of blew that one, so pretty disappointed.
All right, well, Sam Close, 6th place tonight, a top 10. It'll at least be a solid points night for the 5. Sam, thanks for talking.
Can I get a quick plug?
Absolutely, go for it.
My sponsor right now is a book that my dad wrote. He was a spotter for this guy named Rich Bickle, and he's got a book coming out. It just came out today, actually. It's the Rich Bickle story about him coming up through the ranks in his life, and he was a kind of crazy, wild type dude, and they had a ton of stories to tell. So everybody needs to go check that one out.
Do you have a link for it? You can go ahead and post that in the chat so everyone can take a look at it. So try to get there before the end of the stream here in just a minute. Hopefully people can read that. Thanks, Sam, for sharing. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Sorry I couldn't pull that one off.
It was a wild result. Sam gets a 6th tonight. All right, we're going to move on now to the winner, Chad Frankenfield. A wild finish. We didn't think he had anything for him. We thought that decision was not a great idea, but it turns out it was a last lap, last corner pass with the 2 front runners bouncing off the fence. Just walk us through that last restart.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was just a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and I'm sure you guys know, like sometimes you just get that tunnel vision, and as soon as the green flag flew, I was just locked in. I've never made perfect laps like that before, like tonight, and that was just crazy. I couldn't believe that Sam left the bottom open like that, like he did in 3 and 4, and coming off of 4, I'm like, I think I got Matt, and I saw Sam going up the track, and oh god, man, that was just crazy. That whole finish was just nuts. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It definitely took the annoyance away from that stupid speeding penalty I got from just trying to be too aggressive. But yeah, very interesting race.
Interesting for sure. I mean, what was going through your head on that last restart? Did you think you were capable of getting to that top spot, or were you a little bit surprised when you got to turn 3 and saw the door open?
I didn't think so. because I just felt Matt was strong enough, even with the older tires, that I would have had to have needed 15, 20 laps. But once I started to see what was happening, I was like, oh my god, I'm making a lot of time up here. And then those two started going head to head, and that basically was what got me. I think I must have been a second behind them with a lap and a half to go. But them going side by side really helped out. But it sucks for Sam. He was going so hard, and with the way these the playoffs and everything is set up, you got to go for it. And yeah, I mean it was a good race all the way around. So.
All right, well, Chad Frankenfield wins another one this season and begins to close the gap on points leader Matt Grunberg. Chad, thanks for talking. We'll see you at next race.
Yep, thank you so much.
All right, Finian, well, kind of a messy race, but a great finish. At least there'll be a highlight to take away from this. And what do you think about that one? Walk me through.
I will, in general, the whole thing, or?
Sure. Give me your race rundown.
All right. Great opening stint. Middle of the race, kind of forgettable. Very boring with a lot of cautions. That finish almost made up for it, because that was a hell of a finish. And just props to Frankenfield. Didn't think he could pull it off. I apologize for ever doubting his driving ability, because that was the best driving I've seen in such a short run. I thought go from 10th to first, and what was that, 4 laps?
It was not a lot, and it was a great move. And well done by Chad Frankenfield to win another race this season. I think that puts him at 3 victories to Matt Grunberg's 3 as well. So they're tied for most. 61 points were separating them prior to the night. It's going to be less than that when they leave here this evening. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. It's been a long night for us here at SimTV. Be with us tomorrow, 8:40 p.m. for the Grid Life Stadium Super Truck Race. And it's going to be a fun one for sure with drivers Tom O'Gorman, Kenton Cook, and others. We'll see you tomorrow.